Hello, 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 hello. It is Monday. Another week, another Monday. Hope you enjoyed your Monday, or maybe if you're watching it later, you enjoyed your day. Today we're gonna do something that we already kind of talked about before, but I kind of wanted to make a more condensed version again. Last time we talked about it, I kind of was just rather testing the technique that I want to show you today. And today I'm gonna kind of, make a small explanation on how it works. It is a very simple, very easy technique on how you can create very detailed hair pretty quickly and pretty intuitively and very, very easy. I actually, while I was doing it, had actually fun modeling hair. Usually that's always like a super annoying task for me. But this is actually a pretty cool technique that is very easy to do, and it's actually quite fun. So that's what we're gonna do today. And also, of course, the quick sketch. I don't know what's going on with my bitrate right now. It's kind of getting crazy. Looks like it's getting better now, hopefully. So let's go to the summary to see what we're gonna do today. Hello, hello, hello. So today, of course, first of all, before anything of this sort of thing there, if you only want to see one of these topics, there should be timestamps in the description. So yeah, if you only want to see one of these two, feel free to just skip there. I don't expect you to watch the whole thing, dude. Okay, please, bitrate, please just stay where you are. Yeah, I don't expect you to watch the whole thing. The first part of what we're gonna do today is the 30-minute quick sketch. As always, I'm gonna do a quick sketch, roughly 30 minutes, and then probably like 10 to 20 minutes of post-production and rendering and uploading. And then afterwards, we're gonna go into the next topic, which will be creating detailed stylized hair in Blender with a new technique that I've never seen before. The technique helped me a lot in the project that we're currently working on, one of the two. And I wanted to kind of, explain it, showcase it. And yeah, this technique works without curves. It basically just uses modifiers to create very nice strands. I'm going to give you an example on where I used it, and then I'm also going to explain you with that example how I made them. They're very simple, probably, doable, or, pretty doable to create like a full hairstyle probably in, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours. Compared to the other techniques that I've used before, I think that's a pretty good, pretty good technique, or a pretty good, yeah, just a pretty good workflow to work with. I don't know what's going on, dude. Can you please just stay consistent with your bitrate? Hold on, let me maybe changing the streaming method works. I'm gonna, let it do its thing for a second. It went pretty well for the last 2 weeks or so. Now it's acting up. Hopefully it's calming down at some point. Okay, so okay, please. Looking at okay, it's getting red again. Let me try something real quick. It's at 13% drop frames, which is way too high. Usually I'm shooting for, I don't know, it's like the highest would be 4, not 12 or 13. Usually it starts off quite, low and then goes up a little bit, but not 12.3. So hold on, let me see if this works. There you go. Okay, maybe this works. Okay, so let's go to the first topic. Of course, the quick sketch. Pretty simple. Let's go to Blender, and then we're gonna do the quick sketch. I have 30 minutes to create a simple, sculpt. I'm doing sculpts right now. So usually, or before that, I've also done like, just environment modeling, for example, or overall just doing anything in 3D. Creating some sort of, artwork in 30 minutes. Now I'm kind of going to sculpting because I haven't done that before and kind of want to do that now. The last few times we've done a whole lot of different sculpts, like like, I don't know, hold on, you know, stuff like mostly animals, characters, fantasy creatures, all that stuff. Today we're gonna do Toothless from the one Disney movie. Was it Disney or Pixar? How to Tame a Dragon or whatever. I don't even know the name of the movie. But somebody, I was kind of asking on TikTok what I could sculpt. Somebody suggested Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon or whatever. So that's what we're gonna do today. Everything's ready. Oh no, it's actually not. We have to do a few settings first. Of course, we have to go to sculpting. There you go. And then let's see. We have to do a few. Oh my god, my eye's hurting. Okay, I don't know why it's in. Oh, I know why. I have to select the the sphere and then I go into sculpt mode. So we have to deactivate this. And then also dynamic topology on, set that to 20. And then constant detail 20. Dude, okay. I also need symmetry. Nope, not remesh. I need symmetry. There you go. X symmetry. Now we can both paint on both sides. The sculpt that I want to do is actually asymmetrical, but we can break symmetry later once we are, you know, a little bit further into it. I think that'll be better than going off right away, going into asymmetry, because usually, you know, if you work with symmetry, you only have to work on one side, and it, you know, applies to the other side as well, which is very useful in most cases. So we're gonna use symmetry first. I have some references on the side. You're not gonna be able to see it, but that should be a big problem. Yeah, I think we're ready. Oh, where's my timer? There you go. Okay, I would say 30-minute quick sketch in 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, timer's going. 30 minutes, let's go. So, Toothless looks quite, is quite thin, his head. So we're gonna push it down a little bit. Actually quite a lot. So he has, you know, this super flat head. He's a dragon. And so he has this, you know, how you call it, like a lizard type head. That's usually where dragons draw their inspiration from. So he's the exact same. Okay, his head should be a little bit thicker at the bottom right there. There you go. And then we also have the head right here. So usually we have this bigger, you know, the forehead with lizard, not wizards. Lizard also have a forehead, of course. So we have to put that in as well. With the eyes, of course, in the front. Usually, or rather in the front, with lizards, usually they have, as far as I know, eyes facing to the side, or roughly, I think, actually, I don't really know. I think they have like this partially, one going in this direction, one going in this, not perfectly straight, not perfectly out. So they have like a mix between the two. For him, it's actually rather pointing forward. He could probably also say he could look to the side a little bit, but his eyes point forward. So, you know, that's how he's designed. So let me do the quick the eyes socket, which is right here. We have the eyes themselves. We need some more thickness here on the forehead. There you go. We have the eyebrows. Then we have the eye. There you go. I'm gonna give him a kind of, you know, pose. an open mouth pose. So we actually have to open his mouth a little bit. Not too much. What I like to do for these quick sketches is increase the brush strength quite a lot, so I can, you know, work easier, work faster. That's the main or the biggest problem if you do quick sketches. You can't really do too much detail, especially in the beginning, which you shouldn't do anyway, but you know, especially with these quick sketches, you have no time to do that really. So putting the brush size to a very, very big value helps you create these, you know, big silhouette or volume changes very easily. There you go. That's the mouth. We need some more volume at the bottom, just a little bit, like to the lip basically. There you go. Okay, so now that we have that, he's actually like, you know, kind of smiling. And he has, of course, gum inside of his mouth. Of course, he's called toothless because he has no teeth, which means we have to give him his gum, but we don't have to give him his teeth because he has none, at least in the beginning of the film. So let me just quickly make this a little bit bigger here. The mouth needs a little bit of room, so we can put in the gum. His mouth is, you know, just partially open, very, very small, which just makes it kind of harder to work on here. We could also remove the top half, but I think it's better to just do it like this. There you go. Okay, so let's bring in the part on the side and in the back. I'm going to do the gum later. I want to first do the outside because that's what you're going to see the most. There you go. This is too deep. Pull it up. Okay. Pull this back a little bit. There you go. Okay, so his mouth is, you know, he opens his mouth to show his teeth. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do here. Sort of. Okay, so his lip kind of vanished here, so I have to bring it back a little bit. There you go. So now that we have that, we can go over to the head. The head is kind of longer, flat and long. That's how we could describe his face. Also, like it is longer in at the top half of the head than at the bottom here. So we can kind of cut a little bit of it off. There you go. Smooth it a little bit more. There you go. Perfect. Flat at the bottom and then, you know, also flat at the top, but rather longer. If you look from the side at the top, there you go. Okay. Perfect. We're going to give it a more creasing. Just to start it off right there. Okay. Oh, okay. Actually, so he has this like crown going around his head, or behind at the back of his head. He has this crown of multiple, I guess, ears you could call them, or antennas or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do now. What we need for that is, of course, like a connection from the head to these antennas. So I'm going to do something like this for the big boys. He has like 2 big antennas or ears or whatever, and then he has, I think, like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 more. Yeah, he has, so on each side he has 3 more, 3 smaller ones and 1 big one. That's the big one. We can probably make it a little bit bigger, like this. There you go. Okay, and then we have this smaller one in the middle, right there. Perfect. And then we also have 2 on the outside here, which are kind of smaller. This one is bigger than the last one. There you go. And then we have the last one. There you go. Very small boy. There you go. Okay. Now we go in here and we select this piece. Like this. There you go. Okay. We invert it. We use the we need number 5, my hotkey, snake hook tool, and pull it out like this. Not too far, also not too short, of course. So maybe like this. There you go. I think that's okay. We can then go in here and make it a little bit wider to create these ear-like antennas. I don't really have a good reference for the back of them, so I'm just going to do them like this. I can probably pull them a little bit higher though. More like this maybe. Yeah, Perfect, okay. There you go. Okay, let's do the next one. Let's do all of them before we go into detail with each individual one of them. So we're gonna do the same here, do a mask and then pull them out. A little bit more maybe, there you go. Invert, grab my snake hook tool and pull them out. Zip. Oh. Zip. Actually no, I'm gonna pull it a little bit over here. There you go. This is too thin. Oh, welcome, Alejandro. No, I do not speak Spanish. I had Spanish in school, but I didn't have any, you know, I haven't learned that much. So I can't speak Spanish. There you go. Let me invert this real quick so I can pull this a little bit closer. This is actually way too long. There you go. Perfect. Let me grab the last one on this side and then we have one more in the middle. There you go. Make it a little bit wider. They have this weird petal shape. We have 20 minutes left. Perfect. Pull it out. There you go. That's the small one. It kind of looks like a flower. And then the middle part as well. Thanks. Yeah, I had a few people that were, I think, from you know, a Spanish-speaking country. Somebody suggested me to you know, sculpt a Spanish YouTuber because I was doing some likeness sculpts back then. Maybe I come back to that at some point. Right now I'm doing other projects. Like, yeah, I have two, one planned and one that we're gonna work on today. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, I think overall, of course, I guess recently started, so you can't really, you know, expect that much. I think there's also, you know, still a lot I can improve on. And I think also, you know, these streams aren't that accessible for, you know, people that browse YouTube necessarily. But that's why I also have a second channel that is more for stuff like, you know, short form videos like 10 minutes or 20 minutes. That's another channel, which is probably more accessible for people that browse YouTube. There you go. Okay. So let me do some more detail now. We have the eyes as well. Let's actually sculpt the eyes this time. There you go. There you go. That looks kind of cute. Okay, perfect. That looks actually pretty good. I guess, you know, that's the good thing about these, what do you call them? Like child or, you know, younger audience movies. They're very simple in their design, so they're actually pretty simple to recreate. You know what would be fun? Actually creating Toothless or any of these, you know, Disney characters in 3D as if they were to be like realistic, basically recreating them as if they would be like real creatures. I thought about that before, but never really for, you know, animals, more for characters. Hold on, I want to make this a little bit quieter. There you go. Okay. Oh, there you go. We're at 4.7% drop frames now. Perfect. Just switching that, and that option actually helped. Okay, let me go into more detail now. So I'm going to do the gum later, or yet now actually. So we're going to go for 50 resolution, and then we can just tap it on here, and then we have some more detail. So it's of course looking very smooth in the beginning, but Oh, hello. That's interesting. But if we go in here and have more resolution, we can of course add more detail as well. Oh my god. Problem is with the pen, it's kind of hard sometimes to really just tap on here because it kind of detects multiple, you know, movements, I guess, which then pulls the model somewhere, or, you know, creates these weird distortions. So we have to kind of be careful with what we do here. There you go. Okay, perfect. So let's do the nose first. So the nose is pretty simple. It's basically just like a... I don't even know how to describe them. I don't know if lizards really have this kind of nose. They, you know, they have these holes on the side, like this. But they don't really have this nose that he has, as far as at least I know. Hold on, where's my reference? There it is. Oh, actually, yeah, his one's actually pretty small as well. So you have these, you know, these slits or whatever you want to call them. Okay, they're a little bit close together. We have 60 minutes left. Perfect. Come on. There you go. Make it a little bit shorter. There you go. Okay, so that's the nose. We're gonna do... He actually has these nostrils. So we need to make the strength a little bit higher. There you go. And then give him this small little nose. There you go. This small little bump, basically. With the actually an actual nose bridge as well. There you go. Okay. Let me extend this to his forehead as well. His forehead kind of splits in two for his eyebrows. And then go, of course, around his eyes, which we're going to detail more in a second as well. There you go. Perfect. Okay. There you go. Okay, yeah, but at least, you know, somebody else tells me, oh, dude, I enjoy what you do. I wonder why you have so little subs. Kind of gives me like at least, you know, an idea of whether or not what I do is helpful. So yeah, I always appreciate either negative or positive feedback because it helps me either way. Okay, so let's do the eye. The eyes have this, I guess, seed shape, you could call it. Let me see the side view first. Okay. So they look similar. Actually, they look similar to human eyes, but they are a little bit more shaped, you know, drawn to the front. Usually, actually, you could probably call them, you know, they have a similar eye shape to humans as well. But human eyes are actually rotated in the other direction. Where his eyes are... You know, the arch going down together, basically. If you have like this shape right here, this would be the eye part that would be on the inside, which is like a sharper arch down where they meet in the center again. These are the corners of the eye. For him, it's actually the opposite. So this one, the arch that goes steeper, is actually behind at the back. That's a small difference between humans and toothless, I guess. There you go. Gonna make this eye a little bit rounder, of course. There you go. Okay. Then we also need his eyelids. The eyelids are pretty slim or pretty small. I'm gonna just go in here and add them like this. There you go. At the top as well. There you go. Smooth it out a little bit. Oh, we have the back looks kind of weird. There you go. Perfect. Okay, his eyes are actually for this pose are a little bit more... They are asymmetrical, so I'm going to adjust that later. We have 12 minutes left. Perfect, that is enough time. So let's do the lips now. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit more. Give this this cheek a little bit more love here. There you go. Okay. There you go. Then we have the side here. Smooth it out first. Then the lower lip is actually sharper than the upper lip, so I'm gonna give him a sharper lower lip. There you go. We can also use the crease tool in the opposite direction. Oh, that's quite strong. Decrease the strength. There you go. And then just go all the way. There you go. Okay. So now that we have that, we can also go into the mouth. Let's do the mouth next. We have the gum. The gum being very... Okay, we have to make the mouth deeper first. Hold on, I'm going to increase it again. There you go. So we need the lip, and then of course the distinction between the lip and the gum. That's just why I'm making this crease again. We can actually use this, what we can see here protruding from the rest of the model right now, as the gum. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to make this a little bit wider so the teeth could actually fit in here. There you go. Make this deeper again. Okay. They're a little bit wobbly, so we can adjust that as well. Just pull it out. There you go. Okay. Selecting this so I can only work on this part. There you go, and then I can pull it close. Oh, wrong brush. I'm gonna pull this together a little bit more. There you go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so of course he has his gum as well. I'm gonna detail it a little bit more. Of course we have the sockets basically where the teeth are being, you know, where they are in, I guess. So we need to put in the holes as well. That's what I'm gonna do now. Of course it is still very rough and it's kind of hard to really get down there and see everything. But it's just a quick sketch, so it doesn't have to be super highly detailed and perfected, I guess. So we can just create these sockets, I'll call them. There you go. We need some more at the top as well. The top I haven't really touched at all. The top is kind of hard to see. What we can do though is we can just grab this, select it, and then we can say sculpt, hide masked. Oh, hold on, we have done the wrong thing. We have to invert it and then hide masked. There you go. Now we can work on the top half. We can just grab the crease brush and create this nice part here at the top. There you go. And then we also need, of course, the gum. So I'm just gonna do another cut right there. So we have this section right here in between the two cuts, which will be the gum. There you go. I'm gonna do these sockets here as well. Before I do that though, I'm gonna detail this a little bit more. There you go. Okay, perfect. Let's do the sockets right here. 1, 2. He has actually quite big teeth, but also round teeth, or when he gets them. So that's what I'm trying to adapt here. There you go. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Let's bring everything back. Show all. There you go. Perfect. We have a little bit of a problem here. We can just smooth that out real quick. There you go. Perfect. So now that we have the mouth, we also need a tongue, of course. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the upper half. There you go. And hide it as well. Sculpt. Hide masked. Oh, did the wrong thing again. Oh no, we're losing so much time. There you go. Let's do the tongue now. Oh, wrong brush. Dude, I'm throwing this so hard. There you go. Giving him a small little tongue sitting at the bottom of his mouth. Like this. Tongue is very simple to sculpt. We have 7 minutes left. Okay, I want to actually, of course, you know, work on the rest a little bit more as well. So I'm going to do this a little bit faster. There you go. Perfect. Smooth it out. There you go. That's a small little tongue. There you go. Perfect. We're going to bring everything back. Sculpt show all. And then we're going to do the eyeballs. The eyeballs are pretty simple. You know, just these small little circles right here. There you go. Perfect. He also has, you know, not only the iris, but also the, what are they called? The eye hole, I guess. There you go. Then what we need is we need to give him his small little thing here at the middle. These small little horns, or whatever you want to call them. There you go. Okay. His I don't know, tendrils, let's call them, have these weird bumps on the side, so we're gonna put that in there as well. There you go. They're actually quite big, so I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. There you go. We have 6 minutes left. Perfect. That should be just enough time to do everything we need. I don't know what they look like from the bottom except for these bumps, so I'm not gonna do anything then. Or actually, I can probably make them like a cup shape, just so they look a little bit more, I guess, unique. There you go. That's the first. Let's do the next one. Smooth it out. Make sure that I don't hit the bumps. There you go. Let's do this one now. First the cup shape, and then the bumps. The dumps. There you go. Okay. That's the first. Oh, we need one more. There you go. And then, of course, the bumps. Okay, so that's the ear part. We also have his eyes. We're now going to move on to the asymmetry in the last 5 minutes. So now it all comes down to changing one side, making it a little bit different. So this side is actually more close, so we're going to make this, put this a little bit closer together here. There you go. Just a little bit more. Okay, and then this one can be a little bit more open, so I'm going to pull it down and up. There you go. Then I also have the eye, which is kind of closer together. So I'm going to just use this crease brush to kind of give him this more closed eyelid. Like this. I'm going to smooth this out. There you go. Okay. And then we have the other side, which is more open. So I'm going to, you know, open it up with the crease brush. We're going to make the eyelid a little bit bigger, like this. There you go. And then smooth this out and increase the eyeball, or, you know, extend the eyeball as well. Make it smooth here. We have this small little crease right there. There you go. Perfect. Smooth it out. We have this part as well. There you go. Do we need anything else? We have 3 minutes left. We can probably give him some scales now. Or, you know, a body would be nice. Or not like a full body, of course, but just like a neck maybe. Let me grab this here. I don't know where it starts though. I'm probably just gonna do it over here somewhere. There you go. That should be enough. Select everything that we need here. And then select the rest of this inside, like of the inside of the circle here. Then I'm going to invert it, grab my snake hook brush and pull it down. We've done this quite late, which is why it's so slow now. But it should still work. There you go. Okay. Let's go back to 20. I think that's easier to work with. 20, not 2. Okay. And then I'm gonna remove this part. Actually, no, I can just go in here and work like this. We have 2 minutes left. So let's shape this actually into like an actual head, or neck rather. So there you go. Okay. Smoothing it. I have another side view so I can actually see what it looks like. Here we have some more volume right here where his, I guess, you know, his, at the end of his head is, which is extended more into his neck as well. So why we have this, that's why we have this bump right here. We're gonna cut some off right there. Smooth it out. There you go. We have 1 minute 30 left. So we're all good. Just enough time to finish everything, as I said before. My calculations were correct. Grab this, pull it forward. There you go. We now have to kind of, you know, connect it to the head. So I'm just going to do a small transition here. There you go. Perfect. Smooth it out. And that's toothless. Perfect. Now that we have, you know, 51 seconds left, what we can do is we can just go in here, increase the, no, actually decrease the strength, set it back to 50, and give him some scales. Maybe here a little bit more. There you go. Give him a few, just in random spots maybe, to kind of suggest that he's, you know, a dragon. There you go. We can actually enable symmetry on this one. There you go, just kind of painting it in very, very loosely, or very, very small, very subtle. They don't really need to be that big. There you go. Perfect. We have 4 seconds left, so let's add a few more here. There you go. And there you go, perfect. Okay, so let's do the next part. Okay, hold on, I need to do one more thing. I can't just stop myself. What I need to do is I need to select this and then pull it up a little bit higher. Otherwise, this expression won't really work. There you go. Okay, select this. There you go. And then invert it, grab it, and pull it up. Oh, we have to do it on one side though. There you go. Okay, perfect. There you go. That's toothless. Let's save it. I haven't saved it just at all yet, so let's do that real quick. Where do we have here? Quick sketches. We have quick sketch day 134. Oh, wrong button. Quick sketch day 134. Perfect. And that's another quick sketch done. 30 minutes. Just a warm up, of course. And then we're gonna go to the main topic of the day, which is very exciting. You know, I can't even believe how much how much fun I had last week doing this hair modeling technique. It was actually too criminally fun. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I don't know why, but it was just so so surprising that I don't know. Okay, let's do the render. So what we need actually is the scene, the lighting scene that I use for all my quick sketches. Let me just quickly pull it up. Probably here. Yeah, there you go. Of course, we grab the scope from yesterday as well. There you go. Just remove it and then place everything where we need it. So let's go into render view so we can see it. Okay. Of course, we can go closer. There you go, that's better. We're gonna pull this a little bit further back to have the focus point a little bit further back. There you go. Cute. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's save that right now. And then we go into... Oh, we need one more thing. We need to append the shader that I use for all these sketches. Just because otherwise, you know, it looks kind of flat with this shader. You can just, you know, add a little bit more, I guess, flair to it. Especially in these creases, you can just increase, yeah, basically the creases. You increase the... You bring a little bit of black into the creases, which helps you kind of accentuate, especially, for example, the nose or the mouth, the eyes as well. That's basically what it does. There you go. I'm going to pull it a little bit higher, I think. There you go. Just to kind of see the back as well. I think that's pretty cool. We can maybe even pull it more to the center right there. Okay, let me grab the rest here and then maybe rotate it around the subject to kind of get a better lighting here. That's pretty cool. You can see the nice reflection on the nose. You can see the other side a little bit better. It's not overly lit. Perfect. So we're going to save it right there. And then let's go and do the render. Let's go to 50%. We also need 32. Perfect. Let's save it. Then we can do some post-production after the render is done. Shouldn't take too long. Go. Hit render. F12. There you go. Oh, look at that. Almost done. Oh, actually, I wanted to do one more thing. So what I like to do is if I have these, you know, these single head sculpts, what I usually have, I just grab a cube and cut off the bottom part just so we have a very clean, I guess, you know, bottom. There you go. Maybe cut it off right there. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go into the modifiers, use a Boolean modifier, select the cube, just to cut off the part that is not disconnecting. Intersecting with the cube. We're going to apply it. Takes a while, and there you go. And we have a very flat bottom. Perfect. Let's do the render again, and then we can do post-production. There you go. Perfect. Okay, let's do some post-production now. We go into... You know, I want to do one more thing. It's kind of very weighted down. We can't really see the, you know, only the head. There you go. I want to, you know, really show everything. So that's probably better. So this one's only the quick sketch. So I'm only going to do the head. After we're done with the post-production, we're going to go to today's actual, I guess, long-term project, or the project that we're going to finish either today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, which will be the 3D recreation of a 2D sketch that I started last week. We're going to continue working on it and hopefully finish it, or most likely finish it tomorrow. Today what we're going to do is I wanted to kind of show off the hair modeling technique that I've used, because I've never seen it before. And I think it is a very effective way of modeling hair without having to use curves. Curves are annoying in my opinion. So I always thought about whether or not there's a technique that you could use, you know, that kind of is not utilizing curves. And I think I found a pretty good solution. The only, you know, you have like a positive for this technique and a negative. The positive basically being that you can attach the hair to a different surface. The negative being that you can't really use any profiles. You can kind of use a sort of profile. Like on curves, you can kind of say how they're shaped, how if they're like flat, if they have these I don't know. You can give them a, what is it, bevel profile? Which you cannot use for the technique that I'm going to show or explain today, but I think other than that, it is a very, very useful technique to use. Maybe you can even, you know, combine the two. That's probably the most, the best aspect about it. You're not restricted to one or the other. So, okay, let's do post-production. We go into here, there we go. We basically only need one in the Blender post-production, which is the glare node. There you go. That's too strong, so I'm going to decrease it maybe to 2. Also set it to high, just to kind of reduce the glow. I think that's okay, maybe even too much, 2.5. There you go. Yeah, so I thought about maybe making a full, or the idea just came to me, doing a full, basically Disney character recreation, but with realistic, I guess, in real life. So how would he look like with a little bit more realism to it, basically. He is very stylized. His head looks very, stylized. So basically kind of, you know, recreating him, but with realistic proportions, realistic materials, and all that stuff. That might be a project that we could do at some point. Times 4. Oh. Actually, times 8 should be good enough. There you go. Save it. And then let's do the render, and then we can go into Photoshop. Oh, that's quite quick. Even we have to increase the render resolution. There you go. That should take a little bit longer now, but not too much. There you go. Yeah, so right now I have basically, I usually always have two or three projects that I'm working on. Usually like one long-term project that I can switch to if I don't have any, you know, if I want to work on it, or if I don't have any short-term projects that I'm working on. And then I also have usually 1 or 2 short-term projects just to kind of have a second topic or second project to work on if I don't feel like working on the long-term projects. So one of them is the 3D recreation of a 2D sketch, which we're going to finish probably tomorrow. And then the other one that we're going to start on Wednesday is a full workflow of a female orc character. I had that idea for a while now, so now I'm actually doing it. I was kind of inspired again by doing a quick sketch of a female orc. So that's what we're going to start on Wednesday. It's probably going to do another full workflow that I've also done for Dream's real face that we finished on Friday, last week, where we've done basically the sculpt, and then, you know, the hair, the clothing, that's what we're going to do, and the shading, that's what we're going to do with this character as well. Gonna drink something real quick. Of course, you know, it would be best if we had I guess, you know, glossy eyes to kind of highlight them better, but I think that works as well, what we have now. Just a quick sketch, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I also like the texture. I usually keep it on flat display, whatever you call it. Like, you can either set the sculpt to a flat display or a smooth display where it kind of smooths out the geometry. But I kind of like using flat for these quick sketches, just because it gives it a certain level of detail, or maybe even texture that can maybe sometimes help. It can also kind of highlight details a little bit better, or contours. Usually if you smooth them, they get kind of lost. So that's why I kind of keep this flat display on. 18 seconds. Yeah, so basically what we only need to do now to finish the 3D recreation of 2D sketch project would be we need to add a few more details, like this this I guess this second cloth piece over her blazer or whatever you call it. She has this band-aid on her cheek, and then the noodles, of course, the noodles. And we need to finish her, I guess her face a little bit. I wanted to do a few changes there, but then we would basically be done with the model, and then we can go into shading and lighting and rendering. Lighting and rendering I wanted to do tomorrow, and then shading we could maybe do today as well, depending on how good we get through the whole process of the modeling. Okay, PNG, there you go. Quick sketch day 134. Uh, 1920 by 1920. Now that we have the Blender post-processing done, we can go into Photoshop. Once I imported the file, hold on, where's my Blender cloud? Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Okay, so let's do some post-processing in here. First thing first, I'm going to use a selective color correction. I don't know why I usually use that. You could also just use contrast and lighting adjustment layers, but I think this kind of combines the two. What I usually do is I then also use a contrast node, just because it's kind of more, it's just easier to use, you know. With this one, you can have to balance the gray, white, and black tones to kind of create a stronger contrast. But with the contrast node, you just, you know, put that on and increase the contrast. So it's just a little bit easier. That's why I kind of sometimes apply another contrast node on top of the selective color correction node. And then, yeah, then let's apply the fingerprint texture that I usually put on all my black and white, at least, sketches. Nope, that's the wrong one. Textures, fingerprint. There you go. Set the mix mode to add, and then set it maybe to 50%, just so it's not as strong on the outside. Perfect. Yeah, that's it. So let's save this PSD, and then we can save the JPEG. I can upload it to social media, and then we can go to today's topic and today's, I guess, longer project. Okay, PSD is almost done. There you go. Let's do the JPEG now. There you go. Wrong folder. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So let's go back to Blender and open the file that we're going to work on today before we go over to the compilation while I upload my file to social media. Open recent 3D recreation Noodle Girl. There you go. So with the technique that I've used, I've created these strands and this hair. So that's what we're gonna kind of, you know, talk about today. You see right here all these small little strands going in all, you know, in all directions. That's what I kind of wanted to recreate in this. I think it looks pretty cool, and it was very, very simple to set up. Especially once you have a few strands, you can just copy them to other, you know, locations. You can also attach them to the sculpt that I've done before to create some more, you know, structure on the main hair, you know, part. Yeah, and we also, of course, will finish the noodles and kind of, you know, put it in her mouth rather than in her lip. Right now it looks kind of weird, so that's what we're gonna do today. Maybe even some shading. But before we start, I'm gonna upload my my image, which means you will enjoy. Oh, before I do that, I have to import the file to my phone. So I'm going to play the good old compilation of, I think, February and March of all the projects that we've done there. While that is running, I'm going to upload my image and then we can start with the next topic. Just need to finish, or I need to upload my file to my phone, the image, and then there you go. Copy. And paste. I was actually kind of surprised how well the dream face turned out. If you look at this, especially the hair. I didn't expect it to look that good. Probably also because of the shader that I put on it. Hold on, display capture. There you go. Look at this. I've done some post-production in Blender as well. I mean in Photoshop, but especially the hair looks very, very good, especially from this angle. I also have one from the side view, which you know, looks a little bit less good, I guess, especially this part here. But from the front, it looks really good in my opinion. I used my universal skin shader, which worked really, really well, except for maybe these bigger bumps are kind of too strong. But overall, it looks pretty good. What do you mean with you've just started? Have you done or first of all, welcome Ronak. Have you done a beginner tutorial already? Do you know how to, extrude, move in the viewport, how you can, adjust your windows, your layout in Blender? So if you know like the very, very basics, hold on. So basically the list, if you want to start with Blender, for me at least, in my opinion, would be first learning the basics of how you interact with the interface, moving windows, or moving in the okay. So I actually talked about that before, but I think I want to do it again. Basically just a step-by-step tutorial on how exactly you start using or learning Blender, because when I started Blender, or usually when I start learning any program, for example, I want to start learning it like the right way. I don't want to do something wrong and then have to relearn it, for example. So I wanted to actually like make a whole list of what you how you start learning Blender and then going into the next, I guess, year even, improving. Oh, 3D face, nice. So how I would suggest you begin as a full-blown beginner would be to, first of all, of course, I would suggest start with a Blender beginner tutorial that kind of teaches you about everything that you need to just interact and work in the program, like how to move your windows. Wait, oh, hold on. There you go. How to move your windows, how to rearrange them, how to move in the 3D viewport, how to, for example, add new objects. Wait, where is it? There it is. How to change these objects, move them around and all that stuff. Basically learning the basics of the program. I think that's the best spot to start. There would be to just start with a Blender beginner tutorial. Yeah, and then once you have the basics, once you know how to use, or once you know how to use the basics, also know how to use the hotkeys, I would suggest kind of do maybe a few projects, just getting used to them, or getting used to the Blender workflow, doing small projects like or modeling a chair, or modeling, I don't know, a kitchen. That's what I've done. Or modeling a fridge, modeling whatever. Something that is simple to do, but that kind of teaches you how to use the basic tools, so that you can get used to them and just get more effective with them. So yeah, I think I've done a chair and then also I think some chess pieces. Once you know the basics, or once you're kind of used to the tools, you can then go into either more advanced tools like using modifiers like here, or yeah, using subdivisions and all that stuff. That would probably be the next step, basically advanced or basic tools version 2. Once you know how modifiers work, for example, and how you can use those, then you're kind of open to your own path. Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Of course, if it's something you can just Google, you don't need to ask me. But if it's something more specific, you can ask me. So yeah, once you kind of know the basics of I don't know, working in Blender and how you add objects, how you change them, how you use modifiers and all that stuff, then you kind of know the basics of the program. And then you kind of, yeah, then you can kind of decide in which direction you want to go. Do you want to do character modeling? Do you want to do sculpting? Do you want to do hard surface modeling, you know, creating cars? Basically, you should kind of find out what you like most in what you can do in Blender. Do you like animating? Do you like rigging? Do you like, you know, there are so many different topics that you can do that you should decide on one, which you can then go deeper into. So once you know the basics of the program itself, then you can go, okay, I want to learn character modeling. And then you go into a tutorial of how to create, I don't know, characters in Blender. You learn a little bit about the workflow in there, because every workflow is kind of specific to what you want to do. And then once you know the workflow of that, then you can, you know, learn, you know, do your own projects with that workflow to kind of get used to it. And then you can, you know, just do some projects over and over and over again and focus on improving on that workflow while, yeah, just doing more projects. Yeah, if you want to learn animations, then I guess the way to do that would be to, first of all, learn the basics, then practice the basics, learn more advanced techniques like modifiers, practice modifiers, and then watch a tutorial or, you know, explanation about animating in Blender, like a beginner animation tutorial, and then you do small projects where you, yeah, apply that knowledge that you've gained from watching that tutorial. Okay, so before we start, of course, I'm gonna upload my file. I'm gonna see you in 3 minutes. Then we're gonna start with this. I'm gonna explain how I did the hair, and then we're just gonna continue modeling this so we can finish it tomorrow. So I'm gonna see you in 3 minutes. Enjoy. There you go. Okay. Let's bring back the music. There you go. So, it is time to continue. Not sitting, but standing. There you go. Yeah, my pleasure. If you ever have any, if it's easily Googleable, then it's probably just faster to Google it. But if it's something more complex that is kind of hard to Google, then of course you can always ask me. I shouldn't, or even if I then need to Google it, then I at least learn something new. So don't fear ask me anything. Okay. So let's continue. Last week we've modeled the hair. Today I kind of wanted to talk about how I created the hair, the workflow that I've used, and the technique that I've used to create this pretty simple but also very, very versatile hair. It is very, very simple, and I want to show you how it works. So, you can see right here, I wanted to recreate this character or this sketch in 3D. The big problem, of course, is that she has very, very messy hair, which means that we also have, like, of course, the big batch of hair that is just in the middle. And then you have these smaller hairs flying around on the outside. I wanted to, of course, to recreate all of it. So I wanted to have a good solution to create all these small intricate hairs without having to use millions and millions of, or not millions, but thousands of curves, basically. So I wanted to kind of find a technique that I can use not only to create these small hairs flying in all directions, but also to create the hair that it can attach to the surface to create a small hair-like structure or surface structure on the surface of the hair sculpt. So you can see right there, we have two types. The one that is attached to the surface of the sculpt, and then we have the ones that are free flying in all directions. Yeah, it can be quite hard if sometimes sometimes you just don't know what to Google. What I do then is I just try to describe what my problem is, which doesn't work every time, but sometimes it works. Where you find like the exact problem in some sort of forum. But yeah, it can be quite hard sometimes, especially when you get very specific. Okay, so the hair, of course, has to have two properties. The first property being, the hair has to be able to be attached or to lie on the surface of, for example, this hair sculpt that I've created before. The hair sculpt is supposed to cover the main bulk of the hair, and then you have the outer hair that kind of just goes in all directions. So yeah, this is of course not realistic hair. For photorealistic hair, for example, I would use stuff like hair particles. This is more of a technique for stylized hair. Stylized hair usually being being simplified, creating big shapes to kind of create the illusion of more hair. That's why it looks like this, like these tubes going over here. You can probably also, this is basically the first time I've kind of used it, but it worked very, very well when I used it. So yeah, I'm probably going to use this more often, maybe even perfect it a little bit more. I wanted to create this quite quickly, so we can probably go into even more detail by just going in here and making them even slimmer. You can already see how they're made up of just vertices being strung together. I'm going to show you how you set that up now. So I didn't want to use curves, which means I want to use something else. What I would have liked to use would be just vertices, which is what I actually managed to do. You can already see the modifiers over here, but let's set up a hair strand from the beginning without any any setups. So what we need for the hair is basically just 2 vertices, for the beginning at least. So what we're going to do is we're just going to grab a plane, move it over here, and then we're going to go in here and combine these 2, Shift X to combine them. There you go. So we have 2 vertices, basically just 1 edge. This edge we can now use as hair, but of course this edge has no volume to it. So if we go into rendered view here, we can see it's not there basically. It is it has no volume, which means it would not be rendered. You wouldn't see it in the render. So that's the biggest, or the first problem that we have to fix. How do you fix that problem? It is actually pretty simple. The simplest way to give this hair volume would be to use a skin modifier. The skin modifier basically creates skin around edges and vertices to create, for example, like an armature. If I would go in here and have these 2, you know, these 2 vertices right here, and I extrude once more, we can see it also creates, you know, this box around the vertices. There you go. So if I remove this, we have this small little thing again. This is the first part of the hair. We don't need any brand smoothing. We only need this part. What do you mean with do it again? How I created this this hair part right now. We can probably, you know, just repeat it again later. I'm going over everything again. So now that we have the volume of the hair, of course hair isn't quadratic or, you know, has edges. It is actually round. So the next part that we need is something that smoothes the geometry, which means we have 2 options. We either have the smooth modifier option, or we have the subdivision surface modifier option. We cannot use the smooth modifier just because of the fact that we only have 4 and 4, 8 vertices for this geometry. This box only has 8 corners that can be affected by the smooth modifier, which would result in yeah, this doesn't really do much, you know. It is a little bit, you know, maybe smoother, but it, you know, it's still a box. So that's the biggest problem with the smooth modifier. We need more geometry in addition to smoothing the geometry, which means we're going to use the subdivision surface modifier. It adds geometry and also smoothes the geometry if we keep it on the Catmull-Clark setting. If we set it to simple, it's just going to add more geometry without adding the geometry, I mean the smooth effect. So we use Catmull-Clark. There you go. The more levels of viewport we increase, the more geometry there will be, and of course the more the smoother it'll be. If we set it to smooth, it's going to be, oh, we have to do it in here, skin. In the skin modifier, we can set it to smooth shading, and now it's smooth. I'm going to deactivate it just so we can see the geometry. We're going to set it back to subdivision level 1 or 2. Let's use 2. So now that we have a volume, which is not only, you know, we not only have volume, but we also have a round or smooth volume, which means now if we extrude it, zip, it is not only smooth where it kind of, you know, goes in another direction, it is also smoothed so that it is round when you look from this angle, for example. Basically how hair is shaped as well. Hair is just like a tube as well. So we have solved the main problems of the volume, the look, basically. The good thing with the skin modifier is if we go into the vertice now, we select a certain, or if we select vertices, we can just choose one or multiple. Let's use one first. We select this vertice, and then if we press Ctrl A, we can make this vertice or the skin modifier smaller on that vertice, which of course helps you create this nice thinning effect that you have for hair strands. So if we make like a longer hair strand here, and then we make it slimmer, we can see that you can create this nice gradient going from very, very thick to very thin. The biggest problem you can see right here, the hair, it is kind of smooth on the edges, but it's not really smooth. It is semi-smooth. It has still these I guess smooth edges. It is straight and then smooth, straight, smooth. So we kind of want to fix that as well. You can create, of course, a completely smooth hair with just one more modifier. Which modifier do we use? We use another subdivision modifier, subdivision surface modifier. And that is because what we want to do is we want to actually, before we add the skin modifier, if we just look at the hair, the geometry, you can see it is very, you know, rough. There's no smoothness. It is like has multiple corners. So we want to smooth these before we add the skin modifier geometry to it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to use the subdivision surface modifier and move it on top of the skin modifier. This basically smoothes not only the geometry, but also creates even more geometry, yeah, to basically smooth the hair particle. The more we increase the subdivision modifier, of course, the smoother it gets. I'm going to keep it at, I think 1 is okay. So now if we bring in the skin modifier, there you go. It is already smoother. But then if we bring in the subdivision surface modifier on top of the skin modifier, it is even smoother. And of course, the more we increase the subdivision surface modifier on top here, the smoother it gets. There you go. So the first subdivision modifier is for smoothing out the hair strand. The skin modifier is to add volume to the hair strand. And then the second subdivision modifier is to smooth the geometry of the smooth, or to add more geometry and also smooth the geometry of the skin modifier to not only make it smoother, but also round. So now that we have the strand, we can basically apply it to the skin. I mean, to the hair. We can see right here, if we increase the thing right there, we have a nice smooth hair particle. Let me just remove all these. Okay, so this is of course the base, and we could now apply it to the hair sculpt, basically as an add-on. What we can also do is we can basically imitate the flow that we've already sculpted in here. So if we go in here, did I separate the two? I don't think I did. What I've done is, or one more function that I wanted to have in this sculpt, one more function that I wanted to have for this technique of modeling stylized hair, was that I can apply the hair onto the surface of an object without having to manually adjust it. What I mean is that it is supposed to stick to the surface by just placing it on there. I'm going to show you what I mean. So if we now would use a UV sphere, let's use a cube. There you go. Now let's just apply a bevel modifier on it. There you go. So now that we have a beveled cube, we have these smooth surfaces and we also have these rounded edges. So what this is supposed to do is it is supposed to stick to the surface, which means that it's when I create geometry that goes around the cube, it is supposed to follow the surface of this cube. Before I start though, what I want to do is I want to move the pivot point, the origin point in the center, to the root of the hair. That just makes it easier to move it around. And always keep the root of the hair on the surface of where you attach it to. So what we can do is we can just go select the root vertice, which is usually the one that has this red circle. We press Shift S, cursor to select it. We go out of edit mode, object set origin to 3D cursor. And now the root is where the pivot point is. Now what we can do is we can first of all duplicate it. And then we want to attach it, or we want to apply it to the surface of the cube. So we can enable snapping, which now if you move this with these settings here, face and then project individual or elements, move, rotate, scale. Now if we select this this hair and we move it using G, we now snap it onto the surface of this cube. There you go. You can see right there it is applied. Of course, half of it is inside of the cube, but at least we can see the other half, which we can, use to imitate hair flow, for example. So what we can do now is we can go in here. We can make this a little bit slimmer. There we go. And then we can make a small little, a curve-like geometry on this cube. now we come to the hardest part, or the problem that we're facing if we have very sharp corners. If we go in here and extrude it and move it all the way over here, we have this big problem right there. It just goes through the surface. So what we can do to fix that is we can go in here into the modifier and add another modifier. The last modifier basically to finish all the functions that we need for the hair to work properly. There's probably one more you could add if you need it, but those are the most essential ones. So we have smoothing the hair, we have giving the hair geometry and then smoothing the geometry. What we also need is a modifier that is optional for you to apply the geometry or stick the geometry onto a surface if you want to do it. If you want to do that. How we do that is pretty simple. We just use the shrink wrap modifier. There you go. The shrink wrap modifier, you can select a target, which then will be used for the geometry of another object, like this hair strand, to be stuck to. You can say, okay, well, I want to use this cube to stick all the vertices onto that cube. What I mean is, if I, for example, now grab a UV sphere and move it over here, make it smaller. There you go. So I'm going to move it over here to the side of the cube. It is not sticking to the cube, it's just beside it. Now if we apply a subdivision, a shrink wrap modifier to the sphere and then select the target, this cube, it's just going to stick to the surface of the cube. All the vertices of this sphere right there will be basically, projected onto the surface. You can see that it's actually the geometry. If I, for example, move this higher, you can see it's now higher over there. So that's how the shrink wrap modifier works. So if we apply that to this this hair, let's see what happens. Yep, it becomes completely flat. The same thing that happened for the sphere happened for the hair as well. So it is not a problem with that it doesn't work. The problem is the arrangement of the modifiers. If we only want to, if you want to shape the hair first and then add the geometry, what we of course have to do first is we have to move the shrink wrap modifier that is part of the modeling of the hair a little bit further in front of the adding geometry part of the modifier stack. Which means the first thing that we need is the subdivision modifier, the first one, to smooth out the hair and add more geometry to make it smoother. And then we want to apply these individual, if we remove these two, we can see we only have the geometry for the hair. We can already see that it's now it's sticking to the surface, but if we disable that, we can see what happens. So without the shrink wrap modifier, we can see the subdivision modifier makes the, these vertices smoother. You can see right there, they deviate and they just get smoother and add more geometry. The biggest problem is now that it just goes through the geometry. To make it stick to the surface, we need the shrink wrap modifier, but we want to apply it before we add the volume to it. So we're going to move it underneath the subdivision modifier and then apply it. And now the curve actually sticks to the surface of this this edge. Of course, the more subdivision levels you add to the hair modifier, to the first subdivision modifier, the better it'll stick to the surface. But I'll keep it at 2. So if you go into, hold on, let's use plane. There you go. So if you go in here and select 2 vertices, you have to be in vertice select. So the first one, as top left right there, you have vertice, edge, and base. You can also switch between the 3 using 1, 2, and 3. You need 1. You select 2 edges, and then you press Shift and X to combine them. What you can also do is you can press your search button. For me, it is tab, and then you look for merge, add center, and there you go. Now we have it in the middle as well. But if you just want to combine them in the center, right between the 2 vertices, you press Shift X. There you go. You can also select all of them and then press Shift X. That merges them all together in the middle. So now that we have the hair sticking to the surface, we can now reapply the adding of the geometry, the modifiers that, you know, do that. So now we can add the skin modifier. We can see now it sticks perfectly to the surface, and we can also add the subdivision modifier, and there you go. Now we have hair that can stick to the surface. If we don't want to have it stick to the surface, we can just either hide it or just set the target that is set right here. We unset it, there you go, just going through again. So if we only want to use it for, like, you know, if it's supposed to fly around the main bulk of the hair, the main surface basically, we just don't apply the shrink wrap modifier. But if we then, you know, go in here and select this hair sculpt modifier, hair sculpt object, you can see it sticks to the surface. So whether or not you need to stick it to the surface or not, you can just apply or unapply the shrink wrap modifier. And that's basically how the hair modifier is set up. That's all you need. So let's recap how it works. There you go. For the stylized hair material, for the stylized hair, hold on. Yeah. To create very simple, very easy hair strands. Okay, to create very simple, very easy stylized hair strands, what you need is a subdivision modifier with probably level viewport 102. Then a shrink wrap modifier. There you go. Put that underneath the first subdivision modifier. This one's optional. Target you can set if you need it. Then you have a skin modifier that adds geometry to the edge that we have here. And then we have a subdivision modifier that adds smoothing and more geometry to the skin modifier. Without the subdivision modifier, it looks like this. And that's basically how the hair is set up. So if we now go in here, you can see how I've applied it to this project, to this hair. Without the hair strands, it'll look like this. You can see it down here as well in a still image. If we reapply the hair, you can see what it does. It just adds more, small little strands to her to give it more detail, make it look more to like this sketch, for example, and also just more, detailed overall. You can not only use this for hair, you can also use this for noodles. That's what I've done here. Those aren't curves. They are actually just, same process that I've done for the other one. You can see right there. I've just basically grabbed my hair particle or my hair geometry and just, drag it out. And there you go. You have a nice noodle. There you go. And that's how you create the hair particle. So there's one thing that you can do with this hair particle or hair system that you cannot do with curves, which is you can stick it to the surface of your previously sculpted hair, for example. If you want to combine the sculpted hair with the new hair strands, for example. That's something you can do with this hair system, but not with the curve hair system, as far as I know. I've experimented around, I haven't really found a good solution, or haven't really found a way to do it. So that's a plus for this system. A negative is that you cannot really use any bevel, any bevel profiles. So the biggest, I guess, benefit to using curves is that if you have this curve right here, you kind of, you can shape it or whatever. There you go. The biggest benefit is that if you now have a circle modifier, circle curve, and you kind of shape it to whatever it needs to be. I don't know, like this. Hold on, I want to set this to individual. There you go. So if you have this, there you go. You can now apply this to this curve. In this way, you can very easily create very complex looking curves like this. Look at this. And then you can, of course, just, use your curve to kind of adjust the shape or whatever. So that's a positive for curves. You can create very, very complex, curve bevels or curve shapes. That is not really possible with yeah, with this technique. The good thing, of course, being that you can just, combine the two techniques. You can, create the big shapes with curves, for example, and then you create smaller strands like these ones if you need them with the other system. Also, there's maybe like a, a sort of, I guess, an alternate version of creating bevel profiles for these types of hair strands as well, which is basically by using a bevel modifier. If we remove the subdivision modifier, we can see what happens. It adds the bevel to the cube, of course. If we set it to %, that is the best setting that we're going to use here. We can probably set it to 0.4%. Wait, no, 40%. There you go. And then maybe even 50. And then what we can do is we can just add segments, add more segments, which creates the same effect. And now if we go to profile and then custom, we can create our custom profile. It is I guess cheap version of using these profiles because this one's not as versatile as using curved profiles, but at least you can, create a semi profile with this, like this, for example. There you go. It gets kind of weird at the edge right here, or at the back. Oh, especially if you make it smaller, but it still works. So if you want to use it like this, and you want to actually have a profile, you could also just use a bevel modifier to add the profile to your to your hair strand, to this sort of hair strand. I think the best way to use this is to either sculpt the main hair with, basically just to sculpt the main hair and use that as your model, and then add smaller detailed hair with this technique. Or what you can do is also you can combine using curves. Like let me do that real quick. I'm going to use a path for this. I also need a Bezier curve. There you go. Apply the bevel here. Taper object. Nope. Object. There you go. So what we can do is we can just now make this small little oh. Okay, so now we have this strand shape that is basically the, I guess, main hair strand. You can now extend it, of course, like, just add more to it to make a longer hair strand. But that would, for example, be the replacement for the hair sculpt to create the main bulk of the hair. We have this one right there, and then you have one more right there to create a hair structure. And then what you can do is you can detail it more by using the second hair strand system. By duplicating it, using the stick method, for example, moving it closer here. Wait. Actually, does it not stick to curves? It sticks to other... Oh, that's interesting. Never seen that before. I didn't know that. So apparently you cannot stick it to curve geometry. Okay, well, at least what you can do is you can... there you go. You can now detail it more by using these vertices. There you go. Oh. The good thing with these vertices also being that you can just, duplicate them and adjust them very easily. The workflow with them is very simple. Oh, I want to move them down, so I can just pull it down. There you go. And then you can also use another one, make this one even slimmer. There you go. And then move it up again. And this way you can combine these two methods, the curves and this other vertice hair method, I guess, to create even more detailed hair, probably faster than using only curves. But the problem that I find in curves is that you have, usually if you don't use this straight path, you have the problem of using the Bezier curve. The biggest problem with that one that I found is that, these handles are just so weird to set up. You always have to move around in all directions to see if they actually rotate in the right direction. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see. The workflow is kind of, tedious because you always have to move these around if you want to make the incline here or whatever stronger. I mean, smaller or stronger, you can smooth, scale it down. But then, yeah, just overall kind of tedious for me. So I like this vertice modeling technique just a little bit more. So if we would apply this to the scope, for example, what we can do is we can enable snapping. We can duplicate this, and then we can stick it to the surface right there. Then what we can do is we can, first of all, of course, make it slimmer. Oh, there you go. Then we can use this vertice, move it to the surface. If we want to apply the hair to the sculpt surface, we can now, first of all, lie it right on top of it. There you go. With Alt Z, you can go into X-ray mode. You can also enable it up here. And then you can kind of make it slimmer right there. Perfect. So you can either apply it like this and then enable the shrink wrap modifier and apply it right there. So now it's applied to the surface. If you have these weird bumps right there, you can just, move it around a little bit. It can be quite jumpy if you have this very rough topology here. If it's smoother and, set up a little bit more structured, it should be easier. So you can either apply it to the hair by sticking it onto the surface, or what you can also do is you can duplicate it, move it onto here. There you go. The good part about having the pivot point on the root is you can just stick it there, and the root will always be on the surface of whatever you want to stick it to. And then you can make it slimmer. Oh, like this. And then disable snapping. There you go. And then you can just disconnect it so that only the root is on the surface. And you can create the smaller strand on the outside. There you go. And you can see how easy it is to set up. Now I can just go in here and create this small little hair going all over the place, make it slimmer at the back. There you go. Oh, it doesn't really look good. I want to move it further back, so I can move it back here. There you go. And there you go. And you have another strand. I'm going to remove that. What you can also do is, of course, how I made the back, for example. What I've basically just done is I've just collected or, selected all these pieces. There you go, all these strands. And then what I've done is I've just selected them and then duplicated them, moved them to the back. There you go. I make sure that I look at the surface so that all the pivot points are basically on the surface from this perspective. I go and re-enable snapping, and then I press G to snap them onto the surface, and there you go. Now they're all snapped to the surface. I might have to readjust them so they also, actually fit into, the hair structure. What I can also do is I can now, by selecting all of them, go into edit mode, enable proportional editing, and I can move all these hairs together. So if they are supposed to, go in the other direction, I can just select them, increase the size of the, the affected radius of this proportional editing, and just move all these hairs together. Of course, I have to kind of watch out that I don't move the pivot point. I mean the root. Otherwise, I'm just going to disconnect the hair. But this way, I can kind of shape it, a little bit more even, like this again. Zip. Hold on. Yeah, this way I can very easily create even more hair without doing much. I don't have to, you know, create more curves or whatever. I can just duplicate them and put them to another place. Oh, nice, it worked. Nice. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, see ya. Hope you learned something maybe. Maybe learn some more in your own projects. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, so yeah, that's basically how this hair particle system works. I think it's very, very simple to set up. It is very versatile. It has one drawback that I know of right now. Yeah, if you want to use it, feel free. It is very simple, and it was actually pretty fun to use as well. So yeah, that's how you set it up. Just to recap, subdivision modifier. Oh, first of all, you have just like a single edge. Then you use a subdivision modifier, shrink wrap modifier, skin modifier, and then subdivision modifier again. There you go. Da-da, 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 da-da. Yeah, that's how it works. It's very simple. You can of course not only create stuff like hair, but also stuff like noodles. There you go. I've done the same here. So that's actually what we're going to do today. Not only the only thing, but that's what we're going to add. What we're going to do now. We will use the hair system also to create noodles. Yeah, that's what we're going to do today or now. Yeah, I'm glad it helped you. At least I helped someone. Well, I'm probably gonna make like a quick explanation video out of it as well. Put it on my videos channel. Should be a quick video, but I think it can be very helpful. I've never seen this technique being used before. That's why I was kind of surprised that it worked so well. Because usually, if you try something new, it is always probably been tried before and wasn't really working so well. But this one, yeah, this one works very well. So I'm probably gonna use it more in the future as well. So if you want to recap it again, you can of course either wait for the video or just watch this live stream later on YouTube. Okay, let's do the noodles. So of course she has quite a few noodles in her face, so let's do that now. You know what we could do? We could just duplicate these ones actually. So we don't have to create new ones, like brand new ones. We can just duplicate the ones that she already has in her mouth. Well, that's an interesting noodle. Just going through her lip. Okay, let's adjust that now. There you go. Why is it going through there? Did I move it? That's weird. Oh. Oh, nice. So you followed along. That's nice. Live follow along. Okay. So if you said you haven't really learned that much about Blender before, now at least you know a little bit more about the modifiers. That's the first step. There you go. So I'm gonna just connect it to the lip. I'm probably gonna move the lips a little bit so they, the noodles actually go into the mouth. Right now they just stick to the lip. There you go. I'm going to keep it there for now. I'm going to adjust it later. I'm going to choose one of these straight noodles just so it's easier because it's easier to move them. What I want to do is I want to fill this more so it actually, looks like a full batch of noodles that you can see down here as well. So let's do that now. I think I want to just, fill these gaps in the middle right there. There you go. Move it down. Go into X-ray mode. There you go. Now I can also just remove all of this with the C selection, I guess circle selection. There you go. Vertices. And then I can go in here and create more noodles. can go, around Noodles. I can go back, back, and I can do all sorts of stuff. Just moving the camera, moving the vertices. Very simple way to create these, noodles. Yeah, so you can see right there, it's kind of going through her lips, so I kind of probably have to move them down a little bit. You can see right here, she's kind of, slurping it through her lips. She's kind of holding them. That's what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, so I've done the sculpt before, and then now I'm adding the noodles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place the noodles, and then I'm gonna readjust the lips so that they kind of connect a little bit better. Right now, this is the first, I guess, sketch. Once we have the batch noodles ready to go, I'm gonna add some. I'm gonna readjust the lips. There you go. This one can actually be kind of flying, or stopping right there. I think that's cool. They don't all have to move all the way down. There you go. Okay, let's add one more. Yeah, perfect. There you go. Just create more three-dimensionality. Okay. Move this down. I need one, I want to fill this up a little bit more so that it looks more like... Oh, it's 1 AM? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna... yeah. Hope you enjoy your sleep. And, yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for chatting. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your night, I guess. Okay. Don't get caught and lose your PC. Yep. See ya. Take care. Okay. Of course, this sketch is very rough. I think I want to add a few more than what you can see in this sketch. Of course, what I want to do first is, of course, finish this, or create like a badge in the middle. Fill this volume up. There you go. And then create a few more going in all directions that you can see in the sketch as well. Excuse me. Okay, let's continue. I'm gonna speed run this a little bit because I want to actually finish this tomorrow. No stalling here. Zip. Of course, the noodles will probably stick together a little bit, so I'm gonna keep them pretty close together. There you go. That's the next one. By pressing E and then Shift Z, I only move the vertice on the X and Y direction, which makes it easier to just, move it on one plane. There you go. I think that's okay in terms of... yeah, I think that's okay. What I want to do now is I want to actually... First of all, I'm going to move these noodles more into her mouth, not into her lips. So I'm just going to grab these. No, I'm going to do them individually. So I'm going to go in here and just extend them into her mouth and kind of adjust this part here as well. There you go. So now they actually, hold on. There you go. Do the same with all the other. We can also just select multiple ones and then grab them and pull them in here. There you go. Look at that. And then we do the same with the other ones. This one, for example. Just to, of course, make it seem like she's holding them in her mouth. What I also want to add, what you can see right here, are these small little bits that just hang out of her mouth. That kind of, you know, makes it look a little bit more as if these noodles are like all very, very long. There are some that are, you know, a little bit more in her mouth, I guess. There you go. So are there any more? This one probably. We have this one as well. See, now she's already holding it better in her mouth. I think they're a little bit off still. Oh, okay, hold on. You can see right there, they still go through her lip, so I'm gonna adjust them a little bit more. What I can also do is probably just select all of them. How can I do that the best way possible? I guess I can just do it like this. And then move them over a little bit like this. There you go. Perfect. There you go. Let's adjust these ones here. They are kind of weirdly placed. They're kind of flying. They're not really connected to the lips, so now they should be. Perfect. This one is still disconnected. There you go. This one as well. There you go. Oh, we have one more. Oh, these ones actually, you know, go through each other. So what we can do is we can just go in here and move these vertices a little bit further back. There you go. Yeah, perfect. Oh, welcome Jordan Gaming Land. Or I'll just call you Jordan. I think that's better. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your day. Today we're going to do, I've talked about this very easy hair modeling technique. So that's what we're going to do, what we do right now. Basically, you can also use it for noodles. That's what you can see right now. There you go. Okay, let's add a few more. What's up? Okay. So I'm gonna use this one again and just add another one right there. And then I go in here and remove these vertices. So I can create a smaller, I guess, noodle that just hangs off like this. Kind of suggesting that there's more in her mouth. Like this. The good part about this workflow is you can just duplicate them and they still look just as good. There you go. So we have immediately 2 of them. We can also just, you know, do the same on the other side. Move it, rotate it. There you go. Place them in the mouth. We can then also create this swirl right there. Maybe even going into her mouth again. There you go. Then moving it up. Not into her lips, but actually into her mouth. There you go. The more we add, the more looks like noodles and more like sketch. So I want to actually create this loop as well. So what we can do is we can just, I guess, duplicate this one again. There you go, move it over here. And then remove the vertices that we don't need. There you go, vertices. And then we can just select this, move it down to the side, and all the way around, back up. There you go. Perfect. I actually want to move this a little bit closer to the other noodles. Otherwise it looks kind of, you know, as if it's like flying. So I think that should do it. There you go. It immediately looks better than before. Who would have guessed? Adding more detail helps make it look better. So I can't really decipher really where the holes are between the noodles. I think what I want to do though is I want to add more of these loose or shorter noodles as well, just to kind of fill it up a little bit more. So I'm just going to add this and fill the rest like this, just duplicating it, moving it into different directions, different positions. Can create this illusion as if there's even more in her mouth. We could then also just duplicate it over here, make it shorter. There you go. There you go. Do we need more? Oh, we definitely need more at the bottom right there. But I think at the top it looks pretty good already. Let's add one more. There you go. Perfect. Look at that. Yep. I think that's pretty good. Oh, and I want to add one more here. I can't see this. I need one more. Right there, maybe. Underneath. Oh. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. So that's going to be the top half. So now what we need is the lower half. This part right there. There's nothing like that at the bottom right now. We have just this small batch right there. So we need to add a few more down there as well, which should be pretty simple. We can just duplicate one of those and put them down there to fill the bottom up as well. There you go. So now we're going to fill this part here up. I think I want to keep it pretty close to what we have here. So what I mean is I'm probably gonna actually create it just like you can see it in the sketch. So I'm probably gonna remove the front half of the bowl as well. And I'm only gonna I'm only gonna keep the noodles that you can see in the sketch as well. I'm not gonna perfectly trace them, but I'm not gonna add like a whole bowl of food. I want to keep it close to the sketch because it's supposed to be a recreation, not a, I guess, a rebuilding. We have some intersections right there. There you go. Good thing is now that we have the perspective of the actual camera that we're going to use, we can not only see it from this view where we kind of work in, we can also see it from the camera view, basically the view that you can see in the sketch as well, which makes it easy to place these noodles a little bit better or a little bit more according to the sketch. kind of hiding it underneath all the other noodles, so it looks like, you know, it's part of the whole mess. What we can do now is actually, if we want to, I guess what I want to do now is I want to connect these, you know, another noodle to the one that we have right here. Kind of as if they're sticking together. So what we can do is we can just duplicate it and then just change the vertex placement. There you go. Kind of displacing them into all different directions. So it looks a little bit more like, oh, hold on. There you go. Like they're not a single curve, I guess, you know, noodle that is kind of merged together, but actually two that just stick together like this. And that is, you know, very simple to set up. You know, I just go in here, use my X-ray mode and readjust the vertices. There you go. Very simple. The only problem is that you kind of remove the root of the noodle, I guess, from the pivot point. But for these noodles, I don't think it's that necessary to keep the pivot point at the root. We can also just, you know, readjust it so that it's backward, I guess, is supposed to be, by just going in here and selecting the vertex that is supposed to be the root. And then going in here, cursor to selected, Shift S, cursor to selected. And then going out of edit mode, object set origin to 3D cursor, and now it's back at the root. We have a few more vertices to adjust right here. There you go. And then now we have two noodles, I guess, intersecting with each other. Let's add a few more here, especially on this side, right there. Let's see. We have this loop right there. That's what I want to add now. So I'm just gonna, I guess, grab, what do we have here? I'm just gonna grab this one. Remove all the vertices that we don't need. There you go. Place it back into the batch. There you go. Trying to keep it close to where all the others are kind of lying on the height, I guess. And then I can just create the loop. How far should I go? Maybe like this. There you go. What I also can do, of course, I can just cut it short, I guess. It doesn't have to loop all the way around. So I just go all the way back here. It can kind of stick to the other ones as well. And then what I'll do is I'll disconnect it again. Make this small little loop at the bottom. Right there. And then just end it right there. There you go. Now it looks kind of, you know, empty. So what we can do is we can add a few more kind of lying on top or underneath this noodle to kind of, you know, make it look more connected to the whole noodle part. So let's do that now. We can duplicate this one again. You know what the best part about this is we can just rotate this a little bit and then we have a whole nother noodle. There you go. And now we perfectly have a noodle that fits to this one. The biggest problem right now being that it's kind of misplaced, so we can just adjust these vertices to make it fit more into its new place. Oh, it perfectly is already over this part right there. The only problem is here now that this kind of disconnected or going into the other noodle. There you go, that's better. What we can do is I think if we just want to remove one of these vertices, what we can do is we can press X and then dissolve vertice. And now we just, dissolved it. It is still connected. It is a difference to just, I guess, removing it by delete vertices. We have this disconnect now. If we use dissolve vertice, it is still connected to the rest of the vertice string, which can be very helpful. Of course, you can also just reconnect it. So if I remove this vertices, I can just, select these two and then press F to connect them again. But it's of course one step less by just, dissolving it instead of deleting it. Actually, I want to move this higher. So I'm going to go in here, move it up. There you go. And bring it into this hanging bit here. It doesn't have to go all the way up, but at least into the middle of this noodle group. There you go. Actually, this one is kind of in the wrong direction. I mean, in the wrong place. So what I need to do is I need to maybe remove these. And then just move this over here. Oh. One thing you kind of have to be careful for is that you don't delete the vertice that has this red circle around it. This one, if you remove it, you also basically remove the skin modifier. So make sure that you never delete the vertice that has this red circle around it. Oh. There we go. And there you go. Maybe move it down so it's not intersecting with the noodle. There you go. So now we have these two. Let's add this long boy into the scene as well. There he is. He kind of starts right there. I'm gonna place it maybe over here. Oh, place it right there. Rotate it on the Z-axis. There you go. And then I move it over this other noodle. Zip. Perfect. And then I can create this loop. Hold on. I can actually see it in the camera right there that is kind of going in the wrong direction. So I just move all this a little bit over here. And then I can continue. Very simple, very easy. There you go. Pretty easy going. Just moving these vertices and creating this noodle. Never expected to model detailed noodles, but here we are. And I'm actually enjoying it, so here we are. I'm gonna drink something real quick and then we're gonna continue. Oh, welcome James. Thanks. Yeah, so this is of course the 3D recreation of the sketch. We've done basically everything except for a few details. What I've explained today is how you create these hair particles, I guess, or hair strands using a few modifiers on just like an edge, basically. So if you go in here, you can see we only have 2 vertices. And by just extending them, extruding it, you can create this nice, easy hair strand. Or also you can use it for noodles. Using subdivision and then shrink wrap if you need it. Skin, and then another subdivision modifier. I think that is very simple to set up, and also actually pretty versatile. That's basically what I've used for the whole hair, except for the underlying model that is just a sculpt. There you go. So I'm finishing the noodles. Then we're gonna go over to the probably the what is it, this band-aid, or is it a band-aid? I can't remember, but yeah, so we'll do the noodles. We'll finish the noodles, then we'll add the band-aid. We also add this part of her clothing as well. There's one more thing that I want to add there, and then we can go over to shading and rendering. Oh, before we do that though, we need to add some hair to her eyes and eyebrows as well. But let's finish the noodles first. Yeah. If you're interested in the how, or the whole explanation to this, kind of why it is set up in this way. When I'm done with this, when I'm done with the stream, I'm gonna add timestamps to the stream so that you can more easily find it. Or I'm probably gonna also do, you know, edit it down to a video that I'm gonna upload probably next week or so to my videos channel, if you're interested in how this works. I've never seen this technique been used before. That's why I'm kind of was surprised that it works so well and nobody ever, you know, talked about it. But yeah, if you're interested in that, you can even just what is it? Just rewind, right, on YouTube. So if you want to see it now, you can do that as well. Okay, we have a few more. We have these 2, and then we're basically done with the noodles. So let's do these 2. We could probably just select this one, duplicate it, and then rotate it. There you go. And move it over here. We can probably adjust the shape a little bit so it's kind of closer to what we have here. What I'm gonna do is where's the beginning? Right there, okay. Delete this. And then start over. I'm actually gonna move it over here. Start from over here. There you go. It's too high. Smoke too much weed. Okay, I'll stop. There you go. Follow the flow of the sketch. We can see the sticks are too long, or, you know, the pose isn't perfect, but I'm not gonna change it now. We're too deep. I'm actually glad that I, you know, at least made some decent looking hands for this one. I always struggle modeling or sculpting hands, but I'm quite happy with these ones. There you go. And there you go. So that's the first noodle. Let's add 2 more. No, actually we can just use this one. Move it over here a little bit more. Actually no, I'm just gonna I'm gonna create 2 more. There you go. So we have the first one that's kind of looping around and then going up again. That's the first one that I'm gonna do. Move it up. Kind of connecting it to the other ones that kind of fall down there. Kind of hiding them behind there. We can see a disconnect, so I'm going to move it a little bit higher. Right there. Then we can just go in here, extrude it down, and finish the noodle. There you go. We have the finished first out of 2 noodles. Let's do the next one. The next one is even simpler. We just duplicate this one, remove most of the vertices. There you go. And then we can just move this further back. Actually, no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it higher. Start maybe from here. And then come from the back right there. Which will then merge with this noodle. There you go. Go all the way down and end right there. There you go. Those are the noodles. Perfect. So now that we've finished the noodles, hold on. We can go over to the face. So I wanted to adjust the face just a little bit. If we bring it back to flat, it is actually pretty rough. So I'm going to give it a little bit more detail. That shouldn't take too long. And then we can go over to the band-aid and this cloth piece. One thing that kind of annoys me right now is that I think the eyes are a little bit too far apart. So I'm going to just adjust that real quick. I'm going to grab my good old trusty pen. Of course it is, I can't use symmetry because it's already, I guess, desymmetrized. Is that a word? I've already deactivated symmetry before, so reactivating it would result in, you know, a critical error. Then I'm going to go in here. Oh. And move these into their socket. That's the first one. Why are they still connected? I guess I can just select this one. Oh. And P to separate selection. There you go. Now this is an individual object. We can now bring the pivot point to the center right there. There you go. Now we can adjust it individually. There you go. The eyes are probably not perfectly placed right now, but we can adjust that later. I just wanted to move them a little bit closer. I think now it fits better. Usually what you should, I guess a good, rule would be that where the nostrils end, if you go up vertically, your eyes should start, the inner corner of the eye should start where the end of your nostrils are. So if you go up right there, that's roughly where it's supposed to be. It was too far out. Now it looks a little bit better, especially when you look from the side. Yeah, that's better. This one's kind of weird. I'm going to place it a little bit closer. There you go. Perfect. Okay, let's save it. Let's add some more detail to her face now. I'm going to re-enable if it's deactivated. Gonna re-enable dynamic topology, and then let's do some adjustments. First thing first, the lips. 50 is probably enough, right? I think I need more. Yeah, let's set it to 100. There you go. Gonna decrease the strength, so it's kind of easier to create just, you know, a little bit more detail. If you set it too high, it can be very hard to create subtle changes. Very easily you can just, I guess, slip up and create these huge creases, especially with the crease brush. So decreasing the strength makes it easier to just make these smaller minor adjustments. Basically giving it more detail. There you go. Now by just adding more geometry, you also keep the structure of the face better when you go back into object, I guess, layout mode and set the sculpt back to smooth. There you go. Let's do this part here. Very subtly just adding a little bit of geometry to it, or, you know, basically just reforming the geometry, giving it more resolution. We can also just go in here and decrease the strength by a lot, so that it basically not adds any more geometry at all. It just basically subdivides the geometry. So now we basically bump it up from 50 to 100. You can see what the changes are. The sculpt is way smoother. And we can add more detail. It is especially useful in the eyes. The eyes are very, you know, very small, especially the eyelids. So having more geometry helps a lot, but to add these minor details or kind of accentuate the structure that is already there. There you go. You don't need to add more geometry everywhere. If you want to do that, you can go into dynamic topology and use detail float fill. That basically does the same what I do here, but applies it to the whole geometry. Basically it converts the current geometry so that it has 100 resolution everywhere. But I only want to have this higher resolution in certain areas, which not only decreases, of course, the amount of geometry that you have in the sculpt, but also, you know, makes it easier for the PC to handle. And if you don't need it anywhere, then in these spots, then why would you just add more? On Wednesday, the conclusion to the longest arc probably on my channel so far will come. Basically the results for the MSI Creator Award, where I participated and streamed the whole process. It is a competition hosted by MSI called the MSI Creator Award, where you have multiple, I guess, ways to participate, multiple, I guess, sections, or what is it called? I can't remember. You can either participate by submitting a 3D model, a 3D animation, a video edit, I guess, and the last one would be a photo edit, I think, like using Photoshop, or similar software. I've done a 3D model, and now on Wednesday the results will come out. So we're going to look at that on stream. I think once I go live, it's already been out for a while. So we're going to look at who won. In each section, we've kind of revisited, or once we've uploaded our own, we've looked at all the participants. There were a lot. Of course, with all the competitions, you always have like people that I guess just shoot their shot and just submit whatever they have. So we haven't really found that many, I guess, good-looking models. It is similar to, you know, finding the needle in a stack of hay, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna see what the results are. I'm very excited to see who won in each individual section. Because, you know, if it's not me, then at least I can learn. You know, at least you can look at what others have done and learn from them. Even if you win, of course win, you can still look at other participants and can kind of see how they interpreted. For example, the theme, which was what was it? Technology meets aesthetics. That was the theme, so everything that kind of fits in that topic you can do. What I've done is I've recreated a Greek sculpture of Aphrodite? No, not Aphrodite, it's called something else. Venus, a sculpt of Venus. I've recreated that and added, of course, because most of the Greek sculpts have like missing limbs. What I've done is I've basically added back limbs. The missing limbs for that statue would be like arms. I've added back her arms and created them basically I've added not just, you know, sculpt arms, I've added mechanical arms. Which is, yeah, that's the technology part, and the aesthetics part is basically not only, you know, the aesthetically looking sculpt itself, but also I guess, the goddess of love and fertility. So basically like a double meaning of aesthetics. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use this technique more in the future as well. It's just so versatile, and, you know, even if you need less, I guess, if you want to decrease the geometry, what you can just do is you can hold on, there you go. So if you want to decrease the geometry for these pieces, you can just go into the modifier settings and decrease the level viewport and render viewport for your second subdivision modifier. You can see right here you have vertices of 1,206,000. If you decrease it even more, now we have 1,205,000. Usually I would suggest to keep it at least 1. If you, for example, want to, I guess, change all of those, like multiple hairs at once, what you can do is you can select one of them, maybe this one here. Then go in here and increase this, for example, to 3. Keep this one in mind, and then select other ones which you want to apply the same modifier to. So you don't want to go into each individual hair strand and change this to 3. You can just select all the ones that are supposed to change to 3. Then highlight the one that has the change already applied to it. Then you press Ctrl L, link modifiers, and now these orange hairs have copied the modifier stack off of the highlighted yellow here. So if we now go into them, they all have a viewport level of 3. Previously they had a viewport level of 1. I'm going to bring it back to 1. I'm not going to do the same technique again because I don't know which hairs had which hairs I've selected. There you go, that should be all of them. And then this one. Yeah, so it's even pretty simple to decrease the geometry if you need to. Okay, let's do some more sculpting. So I think I want to give her like a slight expression. She looks kind of, she's supposed to look kind of like, you know, concentrated, kind of, it's not really like an angry face, but it's, you know, kind of, yeah, just concentrated. So I'm going to give her these frowning eyebrows. There you go. Let's zoom in a little bit more to see it better. There you go. So it's just a very subtle expression, nothing too crazy. So that's why I have my brush intensity or brush power set very low. By smoothing it, it gets even, you know, smoother or even subtler, which is exactly what I wanted. We can also go in here with the crease brush, kind of just push it down, not too strong. There you go. See, now it's just a little bit visible, not too much. Look at that. Oh, that's actually maybe too much. Okay, do that on the other side as well. Not too much though. This is a, you know, usually both of your, I guess, sides of your face don't really do the exact same motion. So keeping the face a little bit asymmetrical actually helps make the face look more natural. There you go. Perfect. She has her eyelids slightly closed, which doesn't mean that she doesn't have this this, I guess, crease anymore, this wrinkle or fold. So I'm gonna bring it back right there. And it's gonna fade out at the back. This wrinkle or this crease will be created by this fat pad lying over on top of the eyelid, which yeah, creates this small little fold right there. There you go. We can also kind of accentuate the fat pad maybe right here, which kind of makes it look more natural. You can see here that's the bone right there, and then you have this fat pad lying right on top of it, or right next to it rather. There you go. Accentuating that structure makes it look a little bit more natural because you kind of highlight the structure of the face. Do it on this side as well. There you go. Smooth it out. There you go. This might actually be too strong. Hold on. Oh no. Did I ruin the sculpt? There you go. I think that's better. Okay. Of course, this is a quite realistic sculpt, or, you know, sketch. So I try to keep it pretty realistic in this sculpt as well, in terms of proportions and I guess attention to detail. That's why I added these small changes in the skin, like for the fat pad right here, for example, or just created this fold right there, just to kind of increase the amount of detail we have in the sculpt. More detail doesn't necessarily mean more, you know, realism, but if you go from, I guess, stylized to realistic, stylized basically mean reducing it to its most basic shapes, and then the more you want to go into realism, you kind of have to add more, yeah, just more detail to the face. For example, a stylized face, I guess the most stylized face would be like a smiley, only has like a 2 dots for eyes and then a mouth, not even like a nose. Then you want to go a little bit, you know, more realistic, you add a nose. You want to go even more realistic, you add eyebrows. Even more realistic, maybe, I don't know, cheeks. And then at some point you reach, for example, the skin or pores or muscle structure, all that stuff. That's what I'm doing right now. It's kind of getting laggy. I don't really know why. Sometimes it just does it. I can't really control it. I don't really know where it comes from. But I'm not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop me. There you go. That's why I was kind of, you know, so excited when I tried it the first time. I kind of had this idea of this new technique to create hair. I've had some problems with the other techniques that I know so far, like curves, for example. So I kind of wanted to create this new, I guess, develop this new technique. And basically, you know, shape it so that it ticks all the boxes that I wanted it to tick. And yeah, and then it actually worked better than I expected. So it was even better than, you know, it was even better than anticipated. That's why I was so so hyped when I tried it the first time. Because I knew that it's not only going to be helpful for me, but also for others. There you go. Okay. Okay. I think this sculpt has enough detail. Let's actually... Oh, hold on. There's a problem. If we remove the eyes, we can see that it's not deep enough. We need to make it deeper, otherwise the iris of the eye will be covered by this sculpt, which will make it look as if she's blind, because it's just white. So we're going to move it back a little bit. It should already be enough. I'm just going to make sure that it's enough. There you go. Do the same at the bottom here as well. I mean, on the other side. We also probably have to move it down a little bit. Otherwise, we can see a little bit of white still in the iris. Not only going down, but also up. There you go. I wish there was some sort of way to do live... I wonder if that works. Live, like timestamps on YouTube streams. That would be awesome. That would save so much time. But that would probably be, you know, a whole workflow, or you know, automated workflow of adding the timestamps to the description automatically, and it would probably be kind of weird. It's not really that hard to add them later, but you know, just one more step to making my life easier. There you go. Okay, perfect. So let's adjust the eyes. Let's bring them back. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Let's go material preview. That should be easier. Okay. They look pretty good already. Maybe we could adjust them a little bit. I kind of want to know where they actually... Where are they supposed to look to? Let's see. Going into rendered view. I think they're missing a combined, I guess, you know, focus point. So what we can do, we can go in here and use a... Oh, the problem is this one has a pivot point kind of displaced because we have this, you know, this bump at the front. We have this this iris, or this eyeball, is kind of not in the center of this eyeball anymore. So hopefully what works is that we'll go in here and select the exact middle edge here, which I don't think will work. What we can also do is we can just duplicate the other one, which has the exact pivot point where it needs to be. So I'm going to do that. Duplicate it over here. There you go. That should work. Like this. Now you can see it is weirdly looking in the wrong direction. So we can kind of create a focus point for the eyes to focus on. We just grab a empty. There you go. Okay, so then we go into the eyes, go to constraints, add object constraint to the eyes, which will be damped track. We use this target, this empty, as the target object. So we go into the target section here and use the pipette, I guess, and select this. Now it's pointing right at this empty right there. We do the same with this one. The biggest problem here being that, of course, if you look at something, your eyes will not be perfectly pointed straight at it, both eyes. You usually have a certain deviation from the middle point, so that you have a certain point in the middle that is in the focus point, but everything else is kind of blurry. Your eyes don't look perfectly straight at something. They have a certain rotation outwards. So what you can do, we can just duplicate these two. So they're kind of, you know, offset. We can then add another one, which what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cursor to selected and add a plane. There you go. We can then parent these two empties to the plane object. So now if I move this plane, we can move both of them. Now I can select this eye, damp track, select the other empty. There you go. Oh, wait. What did I do? Which one? What's that one called? MT001? Hold on. There you go. So now this one is pointing or looking at this empty. This one is looking at the other one. If I move it around, you can see what happens. Oh, nice red eyes, because we have to change the axis. I think it's -Z. Nope. Nope. Oh, this one's the right one. Y? Yeah. We need -Y. Do the same one here. There you go. Now if I move the plane, woo, it's following the thingy. Good thing is now, or problem is, I think they're too close together. So I'm just gonna move this one out a little bit more. This one as well. We can also see, if I move this, that this eye is kind of, I think, in the wrong direction. I mean, a little bit misplaced. It's probably too far out. I'm going to adjust that in a second. First, I'm gonna place the focus point. I guess just somewhere over here, maybe like there. Okay, that's too deep. Hold on. I guess there maybe. Of course, the closer we get to the eyes, the more they will be cross-eyed, like this. So maybe over here. I think that's a good spot. Hold on. Here we can't really see it. Let's go to material preview. That fits quite well to what we see here. That actually fits pretty well. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go into rendered view so we can see what it looks like. Now we can actually see the irises are not white anymore because we pushed back this the sculpt. The other side I think is a little bit too far out, so we can push it back just a little bit. There you go. And there you go. Those are the eyes. Okay, so the next part will be the band-aid. The band-aid should be pretty simple. We're gonna model the band-aid first, and then we can add the rest later. I'm thinking either using a texture to make it look like a band-aid or actually modeling it. I guess texture would be easier just because, you know, we don't have to model that much. Let's see. So what I would do for, if I would model it, I would just, you know, grab a plane like this. And then placing it roughly on her face. Before I would do this though, I would model it first. I would model it on her face. And then by using a shrink wrap modifier, I just, you know, attach it to her face. If I add more subdivisions, we have more points that can be attached to the surface. There you go. But I want to model it first. So, I mean, we could also just, I guess, sculpt it. So it's not really, you know, another object, but I think I actually want to model it, because then we can kind of separate the materials a little bit easier. So let's see. Okay, hold on. I think I want to move this a little bit further back. I think she's kind of too cross-eyed. If I move this just a little bit further back, she will have a more natural... Yeah, look, like this. That's better. Okay. Maybe even a little bit higher. Okay, perfect. So next part, the band-aid. So let's see. It wouldn't be a big problem to create a texture. Yeah, I guess we just create a texture. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Yeah, otherwise we would have to model a very detailed band-aid and then attach it to the skin. I think it's easier to just create a good texture. So let's create the band-aid first. Let's create a band-aid module that we can then duplicate onto the skin. There you go, plane, move it over here. We then, I guess, extrude scale, there you go. Now by adding a subdivision modifier, by, for example, pressing Ctrl 2, we can add a subdivision modifier. There you go. So that's the band-aid shape. We can now, very easily, just press Shift and D to create a linked duplicate, which means if we go back in here and move this, the other one changes as well. So if we ever do anything over here, the same will be applied to this one as well. What I don't know though is if we bring in a shrink wrap modifier, this one doesn't have it, which is actually good because now we can do changes for this one while this one sticks to the surface. It's just easier to stick this one to the surface without the other one kind of being forced to stick to the surface as well. Kind of hard to explain. Okay. Kind of lining it up. We can also just use the snapping function to just snap it onto the cheek. There you go. And then bringing in a shrink wrap modifier, saying, okay, yeah, it's supposed to shrink wrap onto this one. There you go. We can now go in here and set it to display as, no, viewport display in front. Now the band-aid will always be in front. Let's bring in a few more subdivisions here. There you go. Let's actually remove in front and bring in another modifier, which will be solidify. There you go. Now we have the band-aid geometry. The only thing that is missing now is the texture. Hold on, I want to place it a little bit differently. I'm just going to move it. Oh. It's also too short, so I'm just going to, you know, scale it longer. There you go. And now what we can do is, if you can look at this one, this is pretty round. If we go back in here and move these ones further out, look what happens, nothing. Because if we go into edit mode in here, we go into edit mode for the other one as well. There you go. Bringing in another cut right there. We make these corners a little bit steeper. And now this one's steeper as well, perfect. What we can also do is we can just scale these ones down a little bit. There you go. There you go. So let's create a texture for this piece. The best way would probably be just to use an image. Let's see if we find a copyright-free image of a band-aid. I don't think we will. That looks exactly like the one we have. If we don't, then we can just create our own. So let's see, I have my good old, hold on. There you go. I have my good old no copyright website. So this one's the first one that I usually look through, CC search. This one only displays images that have no copyright on them anymore. Band-aid. Oh, okay, well that doesn't really fit that well. I don't really expect to find good images here, just because this one is very, I guess, limited in its range. We find all sorts of things, but not really, you know, the perfect image. Maybe the perfect image doesn't even exist. But this is probably the website where I least expect to find a good image. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to Pexels. This one's another website that kind of has images that you can use everywhere without being, you know, infringing on any copyright, you know, laws. Band-aid. Let's see if we find one that, you know, makes like is a photo from of a band-aid being shot from on top, like a texture, for example, like these ones, but just, you know, not the band-aid that we saw there. Let's see. No. Well, seem like there's anything. We can also search for texture. I don't think we're gonna find anything there. If not, then we can just, you know, create our own. Doesn't seem like there's anything. Okay, let's create our own. Shouldn't be too hard. So. So, I guess the easiest way would be just to create a custom texture, which we can do by just, first of all, going into the shader options. Actually, hold on. I wanna finish the model first before I go into shading. So I'm gonna see if there's anything else that I wanna, you know, adjust in terms of the model itself. If not, then we can go into shading. Oh, hold on. What is this? That's not right. There you go. No, let's push it up. There you go. Okay, no intersections here. Okay, perfect. So yeah, the last model piece, I guess, that is missing would be this cloth piece that she's wearing. Yeah. True. So let's see. There's probably, you know, you can probably buy one. Let's see. So what if I'm just gonna quickly check it. What if we go to iStock? Good old stock photo site. What if I've Band-Aid? Why do I always get these 8s thingies? What? Oh, probably because I search for Band-Aid. Isn't that the word for it? Hold on. Band-Aid. Yeah. Wow, okay. What if I connect the two? Ah, there you go. Hold on. Okay, let's try again. So that's what I was looking for. You could buy it for 24 euros, but let's see if we find one on Pexels. If we, you know, connect the two words. Oh. That's not bad. Oh. Look at that. I'm just stupid, I guess. Okay, let's see. Oh. Yeah, I guess, let's use the one that we saw right here. This one? No, this one has a certain perspective. This one looks good. Perfect. Okay, so let's download this one. Thank you. So yeah, if you grab one of these images, you can either, you know, thank them on social media or you know, donate some money. And you can also, you know, attribute them or link to them. So let's see. Hold on, I'm gonna make a new one. New folder. There you go. The texture, of course, isn't perfect, so we kind of have to adjust it, but that shouldn't be a big problem. Let's go to Photoshop and grab my image. There you go. Okay, so I think this one's the best one. We could also use this one, but I want to use that one. The biggest problem, of course, here being that we don't really have a good bump map. We have a good texture for just, you know, the general, I guess, look of it. What we don't have is a bump map to make it look more realistic, because, you know, this part is kind of more protruding from the general, you know, level. That's such a stupid description. But this one is like a bump on top of this Band-Aid thingy. We can't really like display that on the shader without having a bump map. So we probably have to just make our own, which shouldn't be a big problem. First of all, I want to separate this piece, and then we can go into that. So hopefully this tool just works. Oh, there you go. Perfect. I'm gonna make a mask. There you go. Let me just quickly adjust this one. Oh. There you go. Okay, I want to make it a little bit sharper, so I'm going to use a sharpening filter. Not too strong, not too little. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Perfect. So now that we have that, yeah. Hold on. There's also this. You can see these bumps on the side. So I wonder if we can apply those as well, or kind of, you know, make them create the illusion as if they're there. I have an idea how we could do that. Hold on. We need another plane right there. I need a good old strength of 1. Use white. Do we need? Yeah, let's use white. There you go. Do that on the other side as well. Okay, perfect. Now, I've never tried this before, so this will be a first for me as well. We use the... What is it called? This one? Yeah. Hold on. You can see it creates this... can you even see it? Hold on. There you go. It creates this 3D effect on these circles. There you go. We can increase the depth. Also the size. There you go. That's what I was looking for. We can also change this. No, not smooth it. Let's use a different fall off. Nope. I want to make a smooth... Actually, no, it looks pretty good. The only problem is that it's not visible on the other side. Which isn't a big problem though. Okay. Now what we can do is we can just, I guess, invert this. And then we can use a mix mode to create the illusion as if it's... Yeah, there you go. Deeper. That's all we needed to do. Probably we can use luminant. No. This one looks good. Okay. Do we need to change the color? I mean, it's gonna be super small in the end, but still. Let's see. I guess we can change the color real quick. There you go. And then color doesn't really do anything. Okay. Well. Okay. Well then, let's scrap that. I think that's okay. Wait, no, it has to be in the other direction. So the shadows need to be on the other side. Because if this is like going up, then the shadow is on this side. If it's going down, then the shadow needs to be on the other side. So we need to rotate the light. Where's my light? There it is. Aha. There you go. Perfect. There you go. We can also kind of, I guess, you know, give him some blurriness so it looks a little bit less unreal, you know, less sharp. Not too much though. I think that's okay. And there you go. We have everything we need. At least for the visual texture, the color texture. We still need a bump map. Which we can set up in a second. Let's save this one first. There we go. Oh. Textures, let's call it Band-Aid version 1A. Oh, well, okay. So that's the Band-Aid diffuse color. And then we also need a bump map. Okay, let's apply this one first, and then we can apply the other one afterwards. So let's go in here and do this real quick. So I'm gonna, I guess, unwrap this first. If we go into UV edit mode, there's the texture. Now we need to create a shader for this piece, of course. There you go. Make a new texture. Call it Band-Aid. We also, of course, need the image. So we're gonna grab it. Oh, we've made a mistake. I've made a mistake. Although, it should still work. So, what I want to do is I want to plug the color into the base color. There you go. Perfect. No, not really. So let's adjust the shape. Which means we need to go into UV edit mode. There you go. So I guess the easiest way would be to just first of all move this in the right position. There you go. And then scale it down. And then I guess we could move this over here. This is kind of stretched though. So I guess we could just add maybe... Why does it look so good on this side? Let's add one more cut right there. Wait, that's gonna stretch it even more, isn't it? Hold on. Oh no, that looks pretty good. Actually, I think that's okay. It's kind of stretched over there, but it's not going to be very visible. So I'm going to accept this. I'm going to accept the offer. Let's adjust it over here as well. Okay, perfect. There you go. It's kind of stretched on this part, but I think because we have changed the scale overall, it'll be a little bit more, I guess, less stretched on this part, on this, texture. It is still stretched over here though. So, oh, I know why. We can kind of improve the look of this by, I guess, just rotating it a little bit. That's definitely better already. Because it is so far off the surface, it kind of has to stretch. So these vertices basically look for the closest point where they can attach to the surface. So the further they're away from the surface, the more they will kind of stretch. That's the biggest problem here. So I think that's okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks okay. Although the texture is in the wrong direction. Okay, hold on. So I guess we can just go in here and adjust that. Oh. There you go. We have a few adjustments we have to make. Move it up. There you go. Perfect. Now everything looks pretty good. Perfect. Now what we need is a bump map, because right now we still have this bump right there, but the bump is just, you know, only visible in the color aspect. If we let a light shine onto the texture, the bump will not affect how the light will, you know, shine onto this band-aid. So we have to create a bump map. The first bump map that we need is for the small little structure that we have on the band-aid itself. Basically this wait. Let me see what happens if I just plug this texture into the bump socket as well. Oh no. I mean, it kind of works, but not really. Hold on. Okay, so if we go into rendered view. Okay, so if we bring in a lamp, we'll see what happens. Oh, that's too big. So now I can show you what happens. If I go in here and disable the bump map, it looks completely flat. By bringing in the bump map, you can see we have these small little bumps that kind of, you know, simulate these fibers on the band-aid. What we don't have just yet is that these you know, visible holes create holes in the bump map as well. So we have to change, or we have to create our own custom texture for that, but that shouldn't be a big problem. So let's do that now. There you go. No, hold on. I said that I wanted to do the model first. I wanted to do the model today. So we're going to do the texturing and shading tomorrow. What we're going to do now is we're going to add this this, you know, piece of clothing to her. The last piece that is missing. Hold on, where is it? This piece right there. That's what I want to add now. So I'm gonna hide everything else. Hold on, I'm gonna actually kind of sort everything out here. So we have the focus point here. So we have IL and we have IR. We also have empty. Let's call it I focus R and I focus L. So now we have that. We also have the arm. All we need is basically, we don't need the bowl, we don't need the noodles. Hold on, where are the noodles? Oh no, they're in the hair strands. I have to move them out of there. Let's create a new collection. Call them Noodles. And let's move all the noodles that are in the hair strand collection that you probably can't see because it's underneath my face cam. Move them all out of there into their own collection. We have quite a few hair hair strands. I guess I can just collect them all. I mean, select them all. There you go. Move all of these into the new collection. There you go. Aha, perfect. So now we have a collection for hair strands. Wait, let's call that, no, let's call it hair strands. So we have noodles. I think there are a few more missing. Yep. There you go. Move these into the noodles noodles collection as well. Perfect. What else do we have? We have the body. Let's do a collection for the body as well. Call it body. What do we have there? We have the arm. Not only the base, but also the post arm. The ball isn't really part of the body. Arm, there you go. What else? We have the other arm. Let's call that arm R post. Put that into the body section as well. We have the other sphere, which is the arm base. Arm R base. We have the head. the head pose, perfect. Put that in the body. Oh, the eyes have their own collection. We have the body itself. Call that body. Is that body pose or is that? No. That's the body. We have this point light, which we don't need anymore. The sphere is here. Sculpt base. I know this is kind of boring, but you know, you have to do it. So you know, it's just less confusing and you can work easier. That's the band-aid post. We have the band-aid base. We have eye focus parent. Oh, we have the old noodles that we probably don't need anymore, so I'm gonna remove them. Head base. Oh, there it is. Hair sculpt, that's still there. What is this? Oh, oh, well, let's make a clothing collection as well. Let's call it accessories. So not only the clothing, but also, you know, the chopsticks or whatever. Chopstick 1. Chopstick 2. The bowl. And the shirt. Perfect. So now we have everything sorted out. We have the accessories. We have the body. We have the noodles. We have the hair strands. The eyes. Yeah, and that's it. Perfect. So we don't need the accessories. Wait, we do. Hold on. We don't need the noodles. We need the band-aid, bowl. There you go. Only the shirt. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Let's do the cloth in the middle now. Shouldn't be a big thing. So that is the part that you wear when you're like working in the kitchen and you kind of want to avoid that all the, you know, food, you know, splatters onto your shirt or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but that's what she's wearing, or I think that's what this line is supposed to be. So I want to add that to her as well. I'm going to create a new sculpt piece for that. So I'm probably gonna just start from a sphere. The main part will be in the front, but I'll lace it like this because I think that's easier to start. I'm gonna go back to sitting, so I'm gonna mute myself for a second. Okay, so let's do the last piece of the model that is still missing. Her head is actually kind of big, or it just looks like that because it's because the hair is so big. Okay. Wait. Hold on. I want to see something. So we have the eyes that I need. Wait. Can I not just select everything? I guess I can do it like this. Wait, can I? Hair strands. Okay, well that... Hold on. I want to move the head just a little bit. Actually, no, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to bother. That's just too much. Or is it? Yep, it is. Okay. Let's continue. I'm gonna go to 20 resolution first, just because that's my usual sketch resolution. Oh. There you go. So we have this piece. Hold on, where's my ball? There it is. We have this ball, of course. We need to shape it into an actual, you know, clothing piece. That's what I'm trying to do here first. I want to extend it, move it out of the shirt so I can, you know, put it on top of the shirt. There you go. We don't need that much at the bottom here, but we need a little bit, so I still need to move it out. There you go. We don't need to change anything here. Actually, no, over here. There you go. Okay, so now that she's wearing a vest, we can start. First of all, I of course make the general shape, then later we can go into some more detail. Starting off big means I can also increase the brush strength by a lot. That just makes it easier to move all this stuff. There you go. First of all, I'm trying to get as close as possible to the shirt because it's, you know, supposed to lie on top of it. There you go. Oh, I can actually remove the head as well. Wait. There it is. Aha, perfect. Looks like an alien now. Okay, I delete the eyes as well. There you go, okay. So, hold on, how does that work again? I don't even remember what this piece of clothing looks like exactly, but I know the general layout. It's first of all going up here. Oh, now I remember, okay. We don't need this part. We only need it up here. There you go. So this is wrapping around her neck to kind of, you know, stay in place. And then it's gonna wrap around her waist as well. There you go. So the general layout is now in. Now it all comes down to adding more detail. Wait. Hold on. I think it's actually wrapping around to the back down here as well. Wait. I think it's actually like this, right? It's wrapping all the way around. The cloth at the bottom right here. Yeah. Like that. Perfect. There you go. Okay, this is looks kind of weird, but now it's time to add some more detail and shape it a little bit better. First, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this as close as possible to the surface, right on top of the shirt. Not going into the shirt, but staying on top of it. There you go. Starting off very rough and then going into more and more detail. I actually, yesterday I've done a female sculpt quick sketch. Basically, you know, doing my second, I guess, you know, face quick sketch. Usually what I do is, you know, just animals or stuff like that. Yesterday I've done like actually like human looking face. And I actually found a new way of starting off my my human faces, I guess. It's a very, very slight change, but I think it'll help me a lot in the future quick sketches. So I'm excited to, you know, apply that technique. Oh, yeah, good night. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Thanks for chatting. And enjoy the rest of your day. I've very, very slightly changed the structure of how I start. You could probably see it tomorrow. So I upload all my quick sketches to another YouTube channel because I don't want to, you know, upload multiple videos daily to the same. I decided to move all those to another one. No, hold on. I can show you what I started with. Wait, where am I? For the noodle, I used the same technique that I use for the hair. So to start off, we only need an edge. So what I do is I just grab a plane, and then using Shift X, I merge these two vertices together in the middle. I do the same on the other side. And now we have the edge that we need to create the modifiers. So the first modifier, then we have the shrink wrap if we need it. We have skin, and then another solidify, oh not solidify, subdivision modifier, and there you go. Very easy to set up and very easy to use. And then of course if you want to change the radius, the circumference, you can just click on one of these vertices and then press Ctrl A to change the thickness. This way you can create this nice fall off that is, you know, that I've used for the hair. There you go. That's the easy part about it. All you're basically doing is, you know, just extruding more and more vertices out of it. Screw modifier. Oh, hold on. So you mean, wait. I'm gonna do it before you. I'm actually interested in what happens. Interested. Hold on. So if you have this now. Oh, oh yeah, maybe. Hold on. Yeah, I guess you could also just, you know, go in here and do it like this, but I guess the screw modifier would be easier. Hold on. Let's see. You could also use a curve for that because you can then create this star shape. So I think for like a cupcake topping, it would maybe be easier to use a curve because you can apply a custom bevel to it that creates this star shape that usually these toppings have because of the tip of the, I guess, bag where it's in. But I'm actually interested in what happens if we use a screw modifier. Oh, okay, I think we have to move it up first. Wait, there you go. Oh no. Oh no. What is this? That's a DNA, what is that thing called? Wait, what happened here? Wait. Oh, that's what happened. But, oh, I know why. Oh no. Oh no. I destroyed my PC. It's frozen. Let's see if it can recover itself. I didn't save, but I think I haven't lost that much. Oh, finally. Yeah. Look at this. That looks so weird. How do you want to change, you know, change it? I'm not gonna touch it. Okay. I mean, I'm the one who did it. You just gave me the idea, you know? If we stood in a bridge and you say, you know, we could also just jump off, then I'm still the one that decides. Okay, yeah, okay. That was a nightmare and a half. Let's save real quick. There you go. I already had flashbacks of losing what I've done so far. Let's go back in here into my safe space. Yeah, so I've I guess optimized my character sculpting technique, which makes it just, you know, a little bit more easier, intuitive, and faster to create new faces from scratch. Yeah, so yeah, so you, oh, hold on. Well, yeah, I guess a curve would still be easier because, you know, you can, I guess, grab a cylinder, for example, set that to, what do we need here? Let's set it to 12. And then what you can do is you can remove these faces. Hold on. There you go. Remove this face as well. Dissolve face. No, only faces. There you go. And then... Hold on. Do we have the right amount? I think so. No, we don't. Oh, no. I'm just gonna, you know, this is just for show purposes. Oh, this actually looks pretty good. Now you can select this and say convert. No, we need to go into layout mode or object mode. Convert to curve. So this is now a curve. If you grab another curve, I like to use the path curve. We can go in here into the geometry settings, geometry object in the bevel, you know, sub tab. Select this. And there you go. You have your very own cupcake topping. And then we can also adjust these. There you go. And then we can grab this and basically do the same motion that we've used for, you know, the other technique to create the topping. We can also scale this down. I think for this one we need to use Alt-S to make it smaller. And you can also twist it by pressing Ctrl-T. Hold on. Woo! There you go. Ooh, trippy. There you go. This looks pretty cool, actually. Like from here. Okay. I think I actually saw a tutorial, or at least a thumbnail of a cupcake topping. Or no, it was an ice cream cone. So I actually kind of, you know, have seen, or at least, you know, kind of thought about how you would do that. And I think the curve makes the most sense because you can create your own bevel and adjust it later. You can create a bevel for the other system, for the other hair system as well, but that one isn't as, I guess, versatile compared to the one that you can use on curves. Curves have the benefit to be more malleable to what you need in terms of their shape. What they don't have is they cannot be, I guess, they cannot stick to a surface using a shrink wrap modifier. That's the only difference, basically. Or that's the only downside, as far as I can recall it now. That's why I even, you know, tried to develop this new technique. because that's the exact technique that I wanted to use. I tried it with a curve and it didn't work. So that's why I even started researching, I guess, or testing stuff. Oh, okay. I think I'm gonna, you know, end the stream in roughly, I guess, 10 to 15 minutes. But, of course, I don't want to stop you from getting some coffee. That doesn't, you know, just as a heads up, that I don't know how long making coffee takes, but, you know. Okay. That looks pretty good, at least, you know, as the general layout. There you go. Now what we need to do is, you guessed it, adding more detail. So, I need some reference for this, otherwise I'm not gonna be able to make this look somewhat decent. First of all, I'm going to decrease the thickness a little bit more, just so I have some more room to work with. Okay. So, oh, I actually have some references. Hold on, are they still in here? Yeah, thanks for joining and chatting, listening. Hold on. Or you know what? Okay, so tomorrow we're gonna finish this cloth part. We're gonna finish the shading and the lighting, and we're gonna finish the whole thing. That's gonna be tomorrow. So if you wanna, you know, join that as well, or just, you know, join, talk about stuff or whatever, feel free. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's stream. Hope it was informative. And yeah. Have a good rest of your day and take care.